What's up, bro?
What's going on?
How you doing?
So far, so good.
That's good, man. Ready for this preseason to start up on Friday?
I can tell you this. I've been ready for that.
Yeah, I'm fired up.
They keep. I don't know if it's the Knicks keep dropping these teaser pictures.
Yeah,
I'm like the only team in the league that doesn't actually release the actual practice videos. So I don't know what's going on there.
it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. This is the first off season. I feel like we've done things the right way. So everybody's got a clean slate with me.
Hopefully with Tibbs too.
What's good, guys? How we doing?
How are you?
What is going on, everyone?
Good.
Hi, how are you?
What's good, Steven? How we doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well, going through a lot of stats.
Whoa, gone.
Statistician is gone.
Oh, boys. Yeah. Getting close, guys. 4 more days. 4 more days.
I'm excited.
See what we got.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, Teddy.
Eddie, what's good, bro?
Let's talk about it.
I'm excited.
Where's Freezy at?
I think he had to work tonight.
Hey,
I don't think he's going to be in it.
Let's talk about it.
He might pop in. My understanding.
Oh, who set it up for him?
I think he had to work tonight. I think he set it up, but I think he's going to be dropping in. That's what he was saying earlier. So
I was working.
Yeah, he hit me up and said he's gonna come in late.
What?
So he's gonna come in late.
All right. Yeah, he's doing a morning show now too. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Never
that's
stops.
I'm trying to figure out when he sleeps.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so this stuff might not end till like 3, 4 in the morning. Then he's back in at 8.
That's devotion right there.
That is.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, but there's people on it. Like I looked at it, there was like 200 people on it the other morning. I was like, my God! I was like, Knicks fans never sleep; they keep going.
It's a heavy rotation.
Yeah. We might need it halfway through the season. The Knicks therapy.
Man.
there was a movie. I can't even remember. I think it had Jimmy Fallon in it, and it was a baseball movie. He was like, "You always loved the Red Sox, but have the Red Sox ever loved you back?" That's kind of how I feel about with Knicks.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Knicks, but have the Knicks ever loved us back?
that sounds more like Bronx Tale to me. What did the Yankees ever do for you?
Yeah. Other than let you down every year.
Yeah.
I promise you, I go into every season. I go into every season with like the highest hopes. Like, this is the year we're making the playoffs. We're going to make a run. And then like 30, 40 games in the season, I'm like, you know what? When is this draft coming up? Because let's go ahead and get this over with.
I'm looking at the schedule and I'm looking at the schedule and looking at the roster and I'm like, if the Knicks have been bad for so long, but if there's knowing my luck, this is the year that they're gonna break out when this draft is stacked. That's what I'm gonna look at. It's like they sucked every year, and the one year it's a good draft where they could get a superstar in the top 5. The team's gonna break out and make a run for the playoffs. That's how I feel it's gonna happen.
This roster is sneaky good because I put it like this. I think it's sneaky good. It's just sneaky because you have absolutely no idea what any of these players are going to produce together. You don't know if
we don't even know who the starting 5 is.
No.
Hey, the more and more I hear Tibbs talk, I'm starting to think Frank got that spot, man.
I think more and more I hear, I think he has more of a 3D spot than he has a point guard spot.
Yeah. That's what I think they need to work on. They need to work on his shooting and get him in 3 and D position. Play him at the 2.
We're going to start so many different guys like in the preseason. You're going to see a different starting lineup every game.
Did y'all hear? Did y'all catch Tibbs? I guess presser today.
Yeah.
It was interesting, you know, as he said, you know, he's going to go into the season, I guess, with a set guy. But, you know, obviously throughout the season, you're going to have different players in. But the thing about this year is obviously, hell, we just started practice, yesterday? Our first team practice was yesterday.
Yeah.
Then our first preseason game is Friday.
Yep.
And then the regular season starts in like 2 weeks. So it's really bunched together. So I guess whoever makes like the most impact up front is going to get the bulk of the time in the beginning, at least.
Yeah. See, to me is what I seen was I heard a lot. There was before the draft, there was a lot of Knox and Obi working out, and a lot of RJ and Obi working out, and then Knox and RJ were working out together. So I'm thinking, will that chemistry eventually, when they see enough of it in practice, will that be the blend of RJ, Knox, Obi?
I mean, I think that's the future right there. I think I made a post in one of my Facebook groups about how you can have teams always bring in players, free agents, when they're like 28, 29, 30, when they're already superstars. But it's very rare. And I can't think of a time probably since the late 80s when the Bulls, I'm not comparing them. I'm going to say disclaimer first. I'm not comparing them to the early 90 Bulls, but I'm saying when the Bulls drafted Jordan, Pippen, and Horace Grant together.
Yeah.
And had them develop into champions together. That's the last time I can think of something like that happening.
That's the right way to do it. I hate this. Okay, 3 superstars jumping together and winning chips. To me, that's why I like LeBron. He's probably the second best player of all time. But how he won his championships is joining with other guys. Jordan stayed with the Bulls and built it with him and Pippen, and then they brought in the second run. They bought Dennis Rodman, but it was just him and Pippen at the first run, and that to me I like because it's staying with the same team, not giving up in the grind, getting.
Don't forget Horace Grant was in there,
winning consistently. Yeah, and you're looking. LeBron was, I can't win in Cleveland. Let me go win and gather with other guys in Miami. Go back to Cleveland. You know what? I can't win. Let me get Kevin Love. Then goes out to LA. You know what? I can't even make the playoffs. Let me get Anthony Davis.
We'll get Teddy started. What's going on, Kev?
What's up?
Hey man, I was trying to figure out. I was like, is that the real Latrell Sprewell?
Passion. I love that guy. That's why. That's why I upload all those videos. Not to hype my channel up, but all the old footage of Latrell now and all the videos. I do it for the whole Knicks nation. You got to represent.
Hey, you chose a real one to use as your moniker, man. I'm telling you, that guy. If we have 5 of him on our team, we won't have no problem on the defensive end or the offensive end.
As long as you don't bring a 2x4 into the room.
Nah, I do that. I'll leave the stuff off the court, but on the court, the guy was a dog. He was a dog.
What's up, Rob?
Hey, Rob.
What's going on? What's up, fam?
What's good,
Knicks
Rob?
family.
Can we get y'all rowdied up now? Can I get y'all rowdied up? Because I feel like I like the little, energy right now. But can we bring it up a little bit? Let's get straight to it, man.
What y'all talking about? These rumors?
I'll forget the rumors. We know it's fake now. Let's get to Tibbs and his pressure today, and the sneaky info he was throwing out there today. How did y'all feel about it? We'll go one by one and tell me what y'all thought of his press conference.
Where Brickolina at?
Cool.
Where Brickolina at? You know why I said that, right?
He hiding right now.
He better be hiding. You heard what he said about Frank, innit?
You already know.
That's all I got to say. Hey, you heard what he said about Frank.
I look at the biggest thing that I got from is what he said about the only positive thing he probably said, like he said it's a positive thing, was about Kevin Knox. He said Kevin Knox had 2 good days of practice, And then the fact that you look at his face, he looked happy, like I was like he was surprised, like Kevin Knox is surprised me. He's had two. And let me pull up the quote because I don't want to mess it up and say whatever.
Hey Kev, you know what we've been saying all along in this chat, man, in this video chat about Kev, is like he's the wild card, man. And I think that's why he probably surprised because that's playing with house money. You know what I mean? If Kev pop, man, it's gonna be a beautiful thing for Knicks fans all around the world. You heard me?
I think he will.
I think so too.
He came into the league. He came into the league at like 19.
Yeah,
18, 19. I mean, he's a baby. The guy can score. That's never been the issue with him. He hasn't been coached. I don't judge anything Kevin has done up until this point. The organization hurt him by who they brought in. Now I can't even judge Frank yet. I don't know what these guys are. I'm giving them a clean slate until I see what they do with Tibbs.
All right, here's the quote. He says, he's had 2 really good days of practice so far. When Kevin Knox takes good shots, he's going to make them. He puts a lot of time into his shooting. He's gotten stronger. He's got to continue to work, and if he does that, Kevin Knox will be fine.
Most improved player on the team.
From the horse's mouth.
It's slowly happening as I don't talk to existence. Y'all haven't know it yet, but Kevin Knox is gonna be the most improved player in this system because we're gonna be running up and down, and that's his. Let me tell you something about Kevin Knox. When he get that motor going and he running that, and he get that 2 steps on the ground and he go up, ain't nobody blocking that dunk.
Oh, he's a problem in the open floor.
Oh my God.
He definitely finishes strong. I was looking at someone had a tweet where they was like they just kept the video where he dunked on Ben Simmons.
Oh my God.
With 2 hands.
He was so surprised. He was so surprised. Like what
with 2 hands. It looked like he might have jumped off the wrong foot.
DeAndre Jordan looked the most surprised, like where did he get that from?
Yeah, it's gonna be lovely this year, man.
If he can bring summer league Knox into the regular season, then
I see a lot more deflections and a lot us running the floor a lot more. That's what made me think Frank may start, man. That he want them long arms out there. He want the length out there. I think it's gonna be Frank, RJ, Bullock. No, forget Bullock. Knox, Randle, and Mitch because of the defense. And Randle's just gonna be an offensive, because he can run the floor too. Don't get it twisted. Randle can run the floor as well. It just with that 4.
Did you say Bullock?
I changed it to Knox immediately. I caught myself.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Payton at the thing. Payton, RJ. Payton, Burks, RJ, Randle, Mitch.
Frank, RJ, Knox, Mitch, and Julius.
Yeah,
that's gonna be. They're gonna return that squad from last year. 6 man gonna be. It's gonna be Obi.
Yep.
Obi and Payton coming out
the backup point guard. I think it's gonna be DSJ. They're not gonna sit him behind Alfred Payton. Alfred Payton gonna be the insurance policy. That's why they probably told him, say, hey, we signing you to this 1-year deal, but what we want you to be is a mentor. You 7 years in the league. You do good for us. This is how we gonna repay you. We're not gonna trade you. That's probably part of the reason why he got that no trade clause. But I hear people saying the CBA too. But I think that's probably what was in the works to get them guys up to snuff. Because we got to find out about these guys, man. Like to Latrell Sprewell's point, man. Them guys haven't had proper coaching, and that's what I go back to. They have not had proper coaching. It's been a lot of front office malpractice on them guys' watch.
I mean,
do you know what I think the line? Do you know what?
I was going to just say, check out Ron's video on front office malpractice. Really, really good job, Ron.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's been killing us, man. That's what's been killing us. You think about it, 30 plus years, man. It seemed like ever since Patrick Ewing, that's when it started. That's when it started, man.
DSJ is the wild card. He's the wild card, man. I mean, they got to somewhat increase this guy's value, even if he's not going to be a part of the future. I mean, he's got to give it. Look, he didn't look like an NBA player last year. The guy in his first 2 years in Dallas, say what you want about him, he could score, and he's athletic. He's got to give us something. Like, I don't care what it is. Just give us something. Don't give us nothing. Give us something this year. That's all I gotta say.
Well, he's going to be the second point guard. I don't see Payton getting crazy minutes. I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go with it's going to be Frank, RJ, Obi, Randle, Mitch. They're going to put the way they're talking. Obi or Randle are going to the 3. The way they're
and then you
talking
think about this,
because
and
the
this
only
too.
way they're
Go ahead, Joe.
minutes. Imagine like you can't if Randle's going to get his 30+ minutes. Where's Obi going to get his minutes? And why would you draft Obi not to give him minutes?
True.
And the way they've been talking about Obi's athleticism, the way his fitness, the agility, everything, they're talking him up and they're going to try and put him at the 3, which I think can work if Randle buys into defense. Because we know Randle can defend. He was defending with the Lakers. He defended when he was with the Pelicans. And then he stopped playing defense with us. If he gets to buy in on defense, that could work.
He ain't had no accountability last year. That's why. There was no accountability on the defensive side.
No.
Yeah, Joe made a great point. Statistically, Randle, he has very good defensive numbers, especially on defensive win shares, based on the amount what he contributed on defense that led to wins last year. It was 1 point, almost 2 games based on his defense.
This is something else that I got from Tibbs' press conference and Mitch. They haven't even worked on any of the offensive sets yet. They have been strictly working on defense the past 2 practices.
Music to my ears.
Mitch is like they haven't even worked on that much of that. It's been mainly Tibbs has been pressing defense since training camp has opened.
What I said.
Which goes to this point even further. That means Kevin Knox has looked good on defense.
Yeah,
exactly. Good point, Kev. That's a good take for him to say he had impressive practice. It's got to be about defense because that's all they're doing. Good point, man. Good point.
Yeah. That's what when I thought about it. I was like,
that is a good point. Yeah, and that is a good point.
And every like a lot of people were saying, "Oh, how's Randle going to react to Obi?" There was videos of Randle and Obi doing post-up moves with Kenny Payne.
I saw that.
Smiling and joking around. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, in fact,
Randle's buying in.
Randle was never a bad guy, though. He's a family guy. I just think he got into uncertain situations a lot of times with him being. It got
into his head. He was going from either a 6-man or like a 5th or 4th option to being told, "Here's $18 million. You're our number 1 option," and it got into his head. That's not
27% usage rate too. Yeah.
So I got a question for the group. I got a question for you all. I want to get your take on this. Who's the one guy on this team more than any guy? You can only pick one guy. I know that we're all looking at everybody, but if there's one guy on this team that you're looking forward to watching the most this season, who's that guy for you?
Boy, that's a great question.
Kevin, for me, it's tied between Obi and Kevin Knox because I know.
Now, when you say my question is, what do you mean looking at
Kevin
which
Knox.
player do I have expectations for, or which player excites me the most going in?
I mean, it could be whatever you want it to be. I'm just saying, if you're looking at one guy that like really you're looking to, that's going to show you that we're going in the right direction. This is the guy I want to see take that jump. Obviously, it's a lot of guys. I'm saying, pick one.
That's great.
Pick one.
I'd say Knox.
Knox. I'm looking forward to seeing Knox. He has the ability to be a top 3 level scorer. He has the athleticism and the work and the body, but he just doesn't know how to use it. And if he's taught how to use it, he can do real damage. And if he buys in on defense, like you had, Calipari said 3 to 4 years. Now we're in the 3rd year. He's had no proper coaching. Now he is coaching. I don't think it's going to happen straight away, but I see towards the trade deadline when guys start getting moved and he gets more minutes going into the beginning of next, that's when we're going to really start to see it. But if the thing is, if he's starting from day 1, getting 25, 30 minutes, that's when I think it's going to really start to show. Because I think he has it in his head. It's like the problem people complain about him and DSJ's motor. I think it was confidence. The front office and the coaching staff.
Both of them are fragile.
Yeah, they done them dirty. They done them dirty last year.
Yeah, they're mentally fragile.
I would say this: who said anything about Kevin Knox's motor after his rookie year?
Really that went away. Well, I'll say this, Joe. I agree with you because this past year, man, I said it. I know I said, I was like, he looked like he is disinterested. He really, to me, I wouldn't say so much as the motor, actually. He looked like he was lost defensively and offensively. Like when they brought Mook in there, it just like he was trying to figure out where he fit on the team. Like, and really, he looked like he wasn't really a part of the team.
His
the way
body
Fizdale was using it.
I mean, okay, let's go through this. Kevin Knox rookie season, and Kevin Knox basically had the keys to do anything he wanted his rookie season.
He sure did.
And then going into, the second season, when they drafted RJ, you heard him saying, "Oh, I'm going to take RJ under my wing. I'm going to show him how everything's going." His mindset was, I was a starter. I'm probably going to be a starter. There was no, points or signs saying that his role was going to be diminished as it was. So his mindset going into it was, I'm the starter. I've proved I can't think of any other rookie going into their second year that their numbers and minutes got dramatically cut like Kevin Knox's did.
Right.
Especially when you made the All NBA team as a rookie. Especially when you made the All NBA team as a rookie. I agree with that.
I mean, of all the young players, 3 years or less, here's the interesting thing. Kevin Knox is the only one to win Rookie of the Month. He was selected to the Rising Stars game.
Mm-hmm.
Made the All-Rookie team. We complain and moan and everything else about R.J. Barrett not making it, but Kevin Knox was selected.
And wasn't Knox first team?
I think he was second team.
He was second team?
I think he was second team.
He was second team? Okay.
He was second team.
But Frank Ntilikina wasn't. Dennis Smith Jr. wasn't. RJ wasn't. Mitch wasn't. It's like Kevin Knox, his rookie season was like as average as you can probably get. And so
wasn't Mitch a rookie all-first defensive team, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
He had to
was
be.
in one of the
He had
defensive teams, first or second. Yeah.
He had to be first team.
But to answer your question, Latrell, I got a different take.
Should have been.
True.
I got a different take to your question. The person I'm going to be paying attention to the most is Tibbs and how he runs and his substitutions and how he. I'm more curious to see how he.
That's a good take right there. I didn't even think about the coaches. I
really want to see how he utilizes the players because we know as Knicks fans sitting back how we would do it. But the guy, and I don't want to say nothing about his age, but I think, I'm curious to see if he can adapt to what's going on today.
I think he will. That time away from the game where he was traveling, visiting different coaches, visiting Golden State, he even visited with Krzyzewski. I think he's going to change his ways because, it's one thing in basketball and sports, period. You got to continue to evolve. You got to continue to make yourself over. If not, the game is going to pass you by. There's no two ways around that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Very true.
My player is RJ. I just want to see whether it's the hype, the real deal, or the hype. For the last year, we're saying whether free agents or draft. Do they fit with RJ? Is he worthy of having that conversation, shooting 61% from the line and a few other things? We got to see if he's a franchise player or a good player.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm about to shock y'all with who I'm looking forward to seeing.
Julius?
Exactly.
I called it.
Exactly.
Exactly. Man.
I sat here and thought about it. The obvious choices would be Frank, DSJ, or Knox. But Randle is a wild card in this thing too. Like I was saying the other night, man, if Randle buy in and start trusting the players and passing the ball and limit them turnovers, imagine how many points he could have averaged last year if he didn't turn the ball over the way he did. I wonder how many turnovers, Steve, did he have on the season? You able to pull that up?
Got it right here. Randle last year, turnovers. He averaged 3 turnovers last year, and he had 193 for the season.
That's a lot.
Look at all those points. Even if it wasn't
not
his
really a
points.
lot because the year before he had 208, the year before 213, the year before 173.
That's terrible.
Turnovers are going up.
Well, they actually went down.
Well, that's going to decrease this year because he's not going to be handling the ball like that.
Yeah, no, but the thing
It
is,
should.
if he tries that spinning move, Tibbs is going to put him straight to the bench. First game of preseason, he does that spinning move. Tibbs like, you're sitting your ass down. That's it.
Hey Joe,
And
it's
then
so
he'll
funny.
stop it.
It's so funny you said that because the first thing I said to myself was that I want to see Tibbs and everyone at home. The first time or second time he does that, everyone's going to be saying, "Come on, Tibbs, you going to be taking him out? Come on, Tibbs, you going to be taking him out?" Because it's going to be a real. It's going to be a it's going to be a line in the sand whether or not he's going to put up with that shit.
Well, I don't think you're gonna have to worry about that.
He probably already told him, you do that spinning move, you're going straight to the bottom of the bench. You're not going to see the court for the rest of the year.
There were a few times last year where Randle brought up the ball, and I was like, "Are you?"
A lot.
Yeah,
It was a lot of that.
I can tell you that's not going to happen.
That's when I threw my remote at the TV. I don't know about you guys. That's where.
Yeah, on MSG tonight they had an old Atlanta game, and you saw him dribbling a lot.
That's the only game they seem to show on MSG. That Atlanta game.
Because that's the one we won.
Damn.
That was a good game.
Yeah,
talk about Mitch though shooting. I kind of want to see it now. Mitch shooting.
Nah, get a post up game. Play into every.
I hear what you're saying. He too small. I'm telling he. I think if he gets a good pump fake, all he needs to do is make one jump shot.
I said the other day that Mitch is like a modern day Marcus Camby.
Exactly. Good comparison.
A young Marcus Camby. Now, when Marcus Camby got a little bit older, he had that 10, 15-foot little jumper that he could hit.
Yeah.
But if you look at the traits, it's basically like size, height, athletic ability. It's like Marcus Camby reincarnated.
As long as he doesn't have the same injury history as when Camby first came into the league.
This is true.
But it was something Mitch said that caught my attention in his presser. When he was saying, basically the reason why he was getting, in a lot of them touch fouls and stuff is because guys was able to knock him off his block.
Yeah, he gained 10 pounds.
And he didn't put on 10 more pounds, so he's up to 250 instead of playing at 240. Mm-hmm. So I thought that's gonna bode well for him.
Yeah, he looked like his shoulders was broad too. You see?
Yeah,
like
I did that. I was about to say his shoulders were
getting AD like.
Yeah, he look like AD. Yeah. Good comparison. That's what it do remind me of.
Yeah, they go like 30 feet, those shoulders.
Yeah. I mean, if we play the majority, I look at it as a game of matchups. And the player who's obviously he'll have to get, I mean, granted, he's still not big enough to get the guard Embiid like that. But there's not that many centers in the league that can guard Embiid anyways if Doc puts him in the post. But other than that, I mean, how many big back-to-the-back centers are there anymore?
That's like a dinosaur. It ain't too many of those.
Well, we got to look at our division because that's where most of our games come from. Then you look at the Nets. They have.
I mean, like I said, you got.
Allen's not a big bully center. Then
no,
Toronto,
he's.
Who did Toronto have now at center?
Baines.
Baines.
Isn't it Baines? Yeah.
Yeah, he's more.
Baines is a bruiser.
Yeah,
I think Orlando center. We will have to.
Vukovic is it Vukovic?
And Boston has Thompson now.
Tristan.
Oh, Thompson.
Thompson.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about his slow play.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, here's the thing about it though is Mitch has never been like a prolific rebounder, like box you out rebounder.
He's a better offensive rebounder.
Yeah, I mean, but that's where he makes his money at, right there.
Are you going to count Mitch for like 10 to 13 rebounds a game?
That'd be an outlier game. That'd be one every 7 games or so. He'll have maybe 10 rebounds.
What I expect
every 7 to 10 games.
If we're going to pay Mitch coming up with the extension coming up, what I want to see from him this year is 30 minutes a game, 12 to 15 points and 10 rebounds and 2 blocks.
Double.
That's what I want out of him at the very least.
I tell you what, if he stays out of foul trouble, he'll get 12 points in his sleep. If he stays out of foul trouble, he'll get 12 points in his sleep.
That's like a Tyson Chandler line.
He'll get that.
Tyson was here.
Yeah. 12 to 15, 10 rebounds and 2 blocks. That's what I want out of him this year.
And if we're running that floor, best believe Mitch
that's not a lot. That's not a lot if he gets more minutes.
I mean, I look at Tibbs because this goes with coaching style. So if they're running the ice defense, then Mitch is perfect. Is basically this will play the same kind of role that Noah played under Tibbs in Chicago.
Oh God!
And I'm talking about on the defensive side, not offensively, but defensively.
Offensively, he doesn't have that.
Yeah, defensively, the rotations, he's going to play the same defensive rotations that Noah did. So he's going to have opportunities because the ice defense is more predicated not on the switching when it comes to pick and rolls. So he'll have more blocking opportunities. His rebounding should go up if he has a proper footwork, which is where Kenny Payne should come in. So he should. That's the thing. If his mind is in it, he should roll out of bed with 10 rebounds.
Speaking of Kenny Payne, we signed 2 more Kentucky guys to the G League.
I saw that.
Yeah. Really only Scout. I can't understand that James Young at all because he can't shoot for 3. But I could understand Scal.
Defense.
Yeah, Scal
defensive mindset.
Scal was a decent kind of backup center for a little while with Atlanta. Or not with Atlanta, with Portland.
Yep.
He was decent. So, look, I don't know. I don't think he'll make. I think when you're thinking about third choice center, probably Spellman is going to be in around that. But yeah, your man could go to the G League, but he could work his way up too in camp. He was a decent center.
Yeah. I tell y'all, fellas, I was looking at our players and seeing who compares to that Chicago team. And when I look at RJ, you know who RJ reminds me of?
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
Absolutely. When I thought about it, it made my skin crawl. And I can envision they got the same kind of mindset. They don't care about numbers. They just want to win. That same type mindset. RJ defense was better than advertised coming into the league. When they were trying to say he was going to be suspect on defense, I was like, they're crazy. I watched the kid at Duke. But his game, he looked like he has the potential to be a Jimmy Butler. And if he turns out to be a Jimmy Butler for us, that pick is a win-win in more ways than one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I want to see RJ play make this year. I want to see him become that playmaker, that guy. Last year, he was just figuring it out. He's so athletic, and he had games where he was explosive, but he had bad shooting nights. It happens as a rookie. This year, I want to see him handle it more at times. I want to see him playmaking for others. I want to see him get out and transition more. And the jumper is going to come with age. But I'm with you, man.
Exactly.
I think Jimmy and him are comparable. That's who he should be. He should be a guy like that.
How many open corner
when I think
I
don't know.
That depends on who is the main penetrator because no one's going to be collapsing on Elfrid Payton.
I don't think Payne's going to see that.
That's what I want to mention was.
I think he's going to be a pine rider.
That's what I was going to think too about the way Tibbs' system. He ran it in with Boston, and I'm not saying DSJ is Derrick Rose, but he's that penetrator that Tibbs likes. That's why I feel him starting with getting good minutes.
Explosion off that pinch
I'm
post.
not saying he's Derrick Rose, but he is explosive. And easy buckets. Him penetrating and kicking out to corner threes.
I got another person, and this is a sneaky person. Y'all gonna hate me for this chat. I gotta say it though. Could Tiz make Frank into Rondo?
No.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, when you say Rondo, you mean like offensive Rondo or like
Rondo couldn't shoot
young Rondo?
He couldn't say he could.
Celtics Rondo.
I think Frank is better than Rondo offensively.
Whoa.
He can shoot the free throws better than him.
He's going to have to be more consistent.
I don't trust Rondo at the free throw line.
Frank's going to have to be more consistent. He's going to have to be more consistent on defense with Frank. He's a great defender, but there's nights where he takes off. If Tibbs can get it out of him, then but he has to be more consistent with the
know what? I hear people say that about Frank, but do you think it could be a part of the system and the players he was playing with last year, how they were playing on defense? Because Frank was the one main defender on our team on the wing that was expending a lot of energy. Other guys weren't playing defense, and we know who they are. We don't even got to call their name. A lot of people weren't playing defense.
Yeah.
So Frank could have been worn out.
No, don't get me wrong. I think Frank is a part of the solution. I think Frank can be a good player on a good team. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
That's why I would want to keep him next year.
But I don't think Rondo was the best comparison to make.
Rondo played some great defense.
I don't think Frank is a playmaker or have the court vision that Rondo has.
To me,
I agree with that.
Every now and then he'll shock you with a pass. Now he will shock you every now and with your eyes will light up, be like, ooh.
But consistently, Rondo has games where he's getting 20 assists, setting people up.
Yeah. Now that's the elite Rondo.
Yeah,
but that Boston Rondo when he first came into the league. Remember what he was? He was pretty much what Frank is right now.
Boston Rondo, anybody he passed the ball to as a rookie could put the ball in a hole. So
Frank ain't had no shooters on the team like he got now.
Kind of a buy there.
And the guy averaged three assists. Frank averaged three assists on 20 minutes. If you up his minute production to 30 minutes with the shooters we got now, it ain't far-fetched to believe he could get you at least 6 assists a game.
Here's the good news for Frank. This tells you all you need to know. The Golden State Warriors, I know this, wanted Frank. They were talking about Frank.
We've been talking about that for the last 4 nights. You got that right.
And my opinion on that is that tells you what you need to know about players. If other teams say, I can get something out of Frank, there's something there. I'm not saying the guy's great. I'm not saying he's an all-star. He can be a good player on a good team. There's teams in this league that could use a Frank. So why can't we just use him and coach him properly? That's all I got.
Let him be who he is, a defensive specialist. Don't expect him to score 20 points a night because that ain't his game. Just allow him to concentrate on defense. That's what you got them shooters for that we done brought in, and Frank will be just fine. He'll be, I agree with you, the key to a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, but Ron, what I was thinking about Frank is because every year his 3 points is getting better. What I can see Frank as being a good 3-and-D, 36, 37% from 3 defender. And
well, actually, I think
too is,
Go ahead, but Frank definitely could end up being a 3-and-D guy. He definitely could.
That's what I think he can with a little bit like he could be most of his minutes at the 2, but can play spot minutes at the 1. And you can put him you could put him a 3-guard lineup, him playing the 3 because he's the length.
And that was one of the things Fizz said about him, that he loved his versatility.
And he may be better because the guys are not as fast as a point guard there.
True.
Yeah. Because when you look at the now games, a lot of the 3s now are a lot smaller than they used to be. You have like with what's your man with McNeil that plays with Utah. He's and the same with PJ Tucker before they played him playing the small ball with Houston. They played him at the 3. Both of them guys are 6'5". You have Frank's 6'5", 6'6", with like a 6'10" wingspan.
6'5", I think.
Yes. See, he could play like 3-guard lineups. You put Frank at the 3. So there's options with Frank, like for the versatility. And what also I was thinking too was about the style of that if he's going to be kind of replicating the Bulls, I could see Randle playing the 3 if he buys in on defense. Because remember what Luol Deng was a 4.
Hold on. Do not. That's no.
No, you can't compare him to Deng.
No. If you compare anything, Randle is pretty much basically a carbon copy of the Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, he's Boozer.
Was on
exactly. Man, you hit it around the head, Kev.
Randle is a whole lot more athletic than Boozer.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying the role that they would play. He's not. Randle.
You know what? I don't even think they're gonna play that Bull style of play because if you really look at it now in today's NBA, that style of play had a lot to do with post movement. And right now, with that stretch 4 and all of that in the league now, you can't possibly play winning basketball with that old Chicago Bulls style of play right now.
But you know what it is? He's just gonna have it diversified, man. He's gonna sprinkle some of that in.
Everyone uses that.
Robin, let me ask you a question. And I want you to think about it, when everyone keeps saying today's, because that Chicago Bulls team was still in this decade. So it's not
True.
like you're talking about
Yeah,
something
but
else.
they never
You're
went
not talking
past
about
the
something else
second
20
round.
years ago. You
No,
know,
but
this
they,
ain't like the
but they,
90s Knicks. So, you know, it was
yo, but they
85,
never
88
made
was
it.
going to win the game.
But they never made it past the second round, no matter how good they was.
They went to the
Tibbs never
conference
got out the second
finals.
round.
They went to the conference finals once or two.
No,
Chicago, yeah.
Was that the year that they was? When did
Didn't they lose to Miami one year?
I thought Chicago, the year Derrick Rose was MVP, got to the Eastern Conference Finals and
Yeah,
lost to
when they
Miami.
won like 60 games.
And they lost to
went
Miami.
the conference finals.
I think the year that they won, if I'm not mistaken, the year that they won 60 games, they got knocked out in the second round.
They had a few good years. So
I think they had like good little, man. They never got almost to the finals.
When I can probably look it up and see.
But we got a lot of that we deep on. I keep looking at our roster. We got some toys to play with this year, if coached right.
Yeah, and with Tibbs, like we were saying about Knox, the maturity and learning to be selective. What Kevin was saying is that if he takes a good shot, he's going to make it. And if he learns to be selective, we'll bring out the best in him.
And imagine if that boy can hit some threes and get a nice pump fake and get down that lane and with a full head of steam. We don't think of Knox like, you know what? He had this in him the whole time.
Yeah, I brought this up the other day, and I want y'all to think about it. What have y'all not seen Knox do on the basketball court?
That's a great question.
That's the question.
Mid-range.
He's had mid-range.
Yeah, that floater in the lane.
Watch not. Either
hey, you bugging, Rob.
Flailing to the basket.
I haven't seen him get back on defense.
Shown it in between.
Consistently.
No. I said what haven't you seen offensively? I mean,
I haven't
offensively.
seen the mid-range.
What can't Knox do on a basketball court?
I haven't seen the mid-range.
Can you post up?
One of his biggest problems was taking the long twos his rookie season.
Yeah, 26%.
That's what I mean. That's not a mid-range. That's a long two.
26%.
That's technically mid-range.
Look,
in today's NBA, it's either the
anything below that three-point line is considered mid-range. Even though it's just a bad. I agree with you, Rob. It is a bad. It's a long two.
Let me get Stephen Fox. Go ahead.
3 to 10
for two dribbles, like you say. The guy in San Antonio, DeRozan. Now that's mid-range.
That's a mid-range specialty.
Okay,
this guy is either a long three or a long two, or he's flailing to the basket trying to throw a floater.
I feel you, Rob. This is what he hasn't done yet. He doesn't have a go-to move yet.
In the post, he don't have that.
He don't got a go-to move yet. That's it.
But I don't think they ran any sets for him to do that.
I think that's his next evolution in this game as a post-up. Is learning to work in that post because he's big. He's a big kid, man.
And he says he put on weight. That's the biggest key for Kevin Knox is when I saw him working out, he has put on not just weight, muscle weight.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can be stronger to take the punishment of going inside is, I think, one of the biggest things that Kevin Knox can do.
Yeah. So Kevin did 26% from 10 feet, 30% from 10 to 6, 26%. 16
Told you.
16%, 16 to the 3-point line, 26%. And also really a thing, and maybe the pandemic will help us here. He was a totally different player.
Hey, Taylor.
He shot 35. He shot 35% from 3 on the road, but 30% from home. He shot, so he has much better statistics on the road. So I hopefully with maybe not getting that crowd there, his confidence will go up and become a different player.
His handle need to get tighter too. His handle.
Yeah, he need to stop dribbling that ball so far away from his body when he's dribbling. He has to bring that thing in closer to the body.
He's too reckless with the ball and casual. He needs to be more protective.
How many times you saw somebody come stripping from behind?
So many times.
It was a lot of that. Like his awareness, you got to be aware. That clock got to start ticking. Move the ball, and that's another thing we didn't do effectively last year as a team. The ball stuck a lot. It wasn't moving.
Yeah,
I mean, did y'all any of y'all trust David Fizdale to come out with a competent game plan?
No.
With
No.
Tibbs?
No, Fizdale.
Fizdale. Only thing he was doing was dribble handoff.
Because I swear, every time I saw, and especially Knox, it's like he would just say, "Knox, go to the corner and
Just camp
stand
out.
there," and I'm gonna have Mook and Randle play off of each other, and it's just like, what is going on? It's like there's no cohesion with Fizdale's offense.
That's why I don't know how they could defend him the way it was when he got fired. I was like, they couldn't have been watching the games I was watching, or any Knicks fan, because ain't no way in the world you could defend the stuff he had out there. It was crazy how the team looked more like an NBA team once Miller took over, and that ain't saying much.
What made you think Marcus? Go ahead.
Sorry. The only thing that impressed me about Fitz was his wife.
She's a beautiful woman, that's for sure.
Yeah, she is.
Sorry, Latrell, it's all yours, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just like Marcus Morris too. Look, as bad as Julius was with the spin moves and the turnovers, I was so I know he won us one game against Dallas, and I loved beating KP in that game. That was fun. But Marcus Morris, I know he had nights where he went off, but he was frustrating, man. He was tough. Once the ball was in his hands, it was either going up or it was a struggle with him too, man, to play the right way. I was frustrated.
He thought he was Carmelo at times.
He thought he was something.
But
I tell you what, he shocked me how he played though.
Portis was a black hole. Mookie was a black hole. The minute it touched their hands, forget it. They weren't going to pass it.
It was frustrating. I'm like, well, we're trying to win. We're a team. Let's play a team game here. I'm trying to win. And look, I agree with you. I think Julius could have a bounce back year this year. He could. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's talented. A guy that can put up 20 points, I'm not going to just throw away for a box of cookies. But he's got to do better. Yeah. The awareness has to be better.
But see, to me now, it's if Julius starts the ball, where does Obi fit in on this? Are we going to have one of them years where it's like, all right, Obi, you're going to sit on the bench and we're going to work and practice on your defense and you're going to come in next year? Is that
I can tell you what's going to probably happen.
Him out.
Why would they do that? Would that make sense at?
Well, where do you fit him in? How's Randle going to get his 30 minutes? And where's Obi? If Randle's getting 30
it's 48 minutes in the game. It's 48 minutes.
And Randle did 32 last year.
That's what I mean.
I know.
A six-man can get 30 to 32 minutes as a six-man.
If he get 25 minutes a game right now, we don't have to go over the top with Obi. He can get 20 to 25 minutes a game in his rookie year, and he'll be fine.
Why can't they play together?
Well,
that's the big question mark. That's the big question mark. That remains to be seen.
Let's see that. But if they can't, he can still get 25 minutes a game, and it won't hurt nothing.
If they play together, it's going to be in spurts. It's not going to be long periods of time when they're on the court together.
It's going to be a matchup thing. It's going to be a matchup thing. Like, if the team playing small ball, okay, cool. We can put Obi and Randle in. Cool. Great.
Yeah. And we can punish you on the boards and still be able to run.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if they run a Tibbs offense. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if they run a Tibbs offense and you have Mitch and Randle in there, who's going to be like Noah in the pinch post, who's going to be, setting the picks, but if the ball in the hand is going to be able to read the defense and put the ball where it's supposed to be going.
Well, I can tell you this: when I was looking at Obi working out, and how he was dribbling the ball, the little drills he was doing, I was like, man, it reminded me of Noah. I'm not even joking. It reminded me of Noah.
Obi, like when he came into when he was in that the prep school before he went over there, Obi was about like 6'4", 6'5". He had a growth spurt in college, so he can handle the ball.
He didn't dunk in his senior year.
He can handle the rock. He can handle it now.
He had a late growth spurt after the age of 19. So him handling the ball, I don't see if that's going to be a problem at all.
He's just a good big for today's NBA because he can really do everything. It's just the defense. That's the thing that can have better.
I'm not going to read too much into that, man.
And
it's the same thing like RJ. They said RJ couldn't play defense coming into the league. I mean, they
won't
said
too
it.
much to tell you this.
And so I'm like I said, the jury is out on that. You know, I'm not gonna go with no preconceived notion that he can't play defense.
And this
Because
is
I saw some times where he was putting people's stuff in the stands too. Go get the ball out the stands.
right.
So I don't buy into too much of that stuff, man. And then you know the sad thing is these same people who wrote these articles and say he can't play defense ain't gonna come back if he's playing defense and be like, oh well, I'm surprised. I thought he wasn't gonna play defense. They're gonna try to big up him and act like, oh, they knew he could play. Nah. So I ain't gonna buy too much into that.
I look
He had
at
a higher defensive rating than Frank RJ. From a DWS, a defensive win share. Yeah, Frank was 0.8. RJ was 1.1. And to give you a reference, last year, Jimmy Butler was 2.7.
I look at it, it's all about matches. People keep wanting to move RJ to the 3 when he is a perfect 2 guard. And I say this: how many lineups have a small? How big is RJ? Like 6'7", probably
6'7", 6'6", 6'7".
6'7".
Yeah, he's about 6'7".
Yeah.
Defensively, he's able to smother smaller guards. Maybe not quicker guards, but how many? How about like this? In today's NBA, how many elite 2 guards are there? Other than like James Harden,
ain't too many.
Nobody can guard. But you talking about? I mean,
him and Booker.
Booker's like 6'4", maybe.
He got the Spider, Utah.
Clay Thompson.
Mitchell.
Well, Clay's not playing
Spider, Spider out there. Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, but Clay ain't playing this year. So, I mean, for the most part, it's like, I'd take RJ at the 2 over 20 other teams shooting guards right now.
Well, you got Bill. You can't take
Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is good, man. He's tough.
So look at it. You might have 5 elite shooting guards. Like elite.
Well,
I just don't look at it that way anymore.
Look, you got.
Don't forget Buddy Hield
in Boston. What? Brown.
Jalen.
Now here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought it up. I would love to play Boston because I have this notion that why can't, and people might kill me of this, why can't Knox and RJ be just as good as Tatum and Brown? They have the same attributes.
They can be just as tough.
But we have
that same coaching in the beginning.
Exactly.
But now they have Tibbs.
Yeah, it's a fair comparison.
If Tibbs can teach them like Brad Stevens has taught Tatum, because the only thing the difference is Tatum and Brown came into an organization that knew what they were doing from the jump.
Yeah,
that's true.
Mm-hmm. So RJ and Knox are kind of playing catch up. But if you just look at their attributes, it's pretty much the same. I mean, Tatum was the 3rd overall pick. RJ was the 3rd overall pick.
Only place where they're separated at is Tatum can handle that rock.
And he can shoot it better than
He's a generational talent.
He's one of them ones that come around but every 10 years.
Mm-hmm. That's what we hope that RJ is. And I don't think we've seen the best of what RJ. I live in Durham, North Carolina. Okay. Literally, Duke is right down the street from my house. When they win, I can hear the crowd, from Cameron's indoor stadium.
Okay.
So I have seen RJ in college, and I know RJ. I've seen him at the collegiate level be a decent shooter.
Oh yeah, he was.
Why his shot hasn't kind of translated? Maybe it is spacing. Maybe it is a game plan. But I know RJ is a better shooter than what he has. I know Kevin Knox is a way better shooter than what the numbers show that he has been.
You hit it right on the head. It's coaching. It's absolutely coaching. Them guys. If you think about it, you got Brad Stevens. You got Fizdale. Let that sink in.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, but also they haven't played with a good point guard yet.
And that's the truth.
No,
because
that's another thing.
I'll say that because they have had Kyrie and Kemba.
And Kemba, you're right.
And I'm a big fan, man of your channel. I just subscribe. I'm a huge fan of you. I love when you call in. Huge fan.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Man,
you and the rest of us, we go 3, 2, 1. Man.
I tell you what, I hope when I do that this year, all I do when I do that this year when I'm watching the games is from a point of elation and not from a point of despair. Because that thing can go either way.
Well said.
You know,
Like,
so
man.
I'm excited that we got a coach that knows what he's doing, man. We're not gonna get our coach this year.
That's what people are talking about. They want Cade Cunningham. Tibbs does not have tanking in his DNA. Tibbs is gonna will this team to some wins this season.
Hey Kevin, you know what I keep telling people? That's one word that I hate to even be heard anymore because that ain't gonna happen. The NBA is not gonna reward teams for losing on purpose, and that's what tanking is. That's what tanking was.
Yeah,
put it that way. That's what it was. What Philly was doing, that was tanking. Them boys ain't had no veterans on the team. They just put out a G League team and was losing.
I don't think tanking
and was losing on purpose.
They changed the draft rules, so now
exactly. And the year that Zion came out, they changed it.
They changed it, which actually hurt us. But
yeah, that's what hurt us. If it was the old rules, we would have got Zion. Thank goodness.
But you know what?
But like I said, I think Tibbs is going to will this team to wins. I don't see it in him because he's too good of a coach to not coach his players up. And certainly in this, and I look at it from a condensed season kind of standpoint, where you got the one thing this team has going for them is the fact that they are young, and so they're going to be a fresher than a lot of the teams that they play. Freezy in the house.
What up, Freezy? What up,
what's up?
Hey, y'all.
What's up, big dog?
Hey, what's good?
Whose bald head is that?
It's the big boss.
With a trucker hat.
Hey, man, I'm not at home. I'm doing this from work. I jumped in because State said he wanted to jump in, so I'm gonna bring State in and I'm gonna get out the way.
All right.
Hey man, good to see you, man. Stay safe.
Hey, thank y'all too, man. Y'all doing a good job, man.
You're the Godfather.
Representing Knox.
Hey, we all looking forward to that this year, man. We all looking forward to it. I think he's gonna put on a show this year. I might have to go buy a Knox jersey. I got my two of my Dolphins Tua jersey, so I think I might have to go get a Knox jersey. Well, hold on, I might have to go get Obi. Might have to get two.
But what was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying.
You was talking about Tibbs.
Oh yeah. The thing that we have. Okay, let's look at this. We got 72 games. A lot of these games this season going to be back-to-backs, playing on one night. How many teams? Let's say we play against the Clippers, and Kawhi pulls one of his. I'm sitting out because we got the Knicks, so I don't got to play.
Low management.
Yeah.
How many teams gonna be load managing against the Knicks because it's the Knicks and they think they can just throw whatever lineup out there. They ain't got to bring the best players. Those are games in the beginning that we can steal. Okay, you ain't playing with Kawhi. Okay, watch this.
And the Nets are going to do the same thing with KD.
Talk about we're gonna be at a disadvantage because we got a new coach, new system. But this whole situation is going to be new for everybody, pretty much. There's a lot of teams with first-year coaches this year too. It was a lot of turnover. It was a lot of turnover right in the Eastern Conference. You got us, you got Indiana, you got Philly. Who else? I mean, that's three right there.
Yeah, it just feels so good to have a real coach, man. Look, win, lose, or draw this year. I don't care what the win-loss is. I just know that this guy's going to do the right things. Like as a fan, we all think we know everything, and I mean, there's certain things we know more about. I'll admit I was frustrated last year, but at the end of the day, I believe in this guy, and I just know he's going to do the right things for these guys. That's all I got.
He's a breath of fresh air, man. We're going to definitely be prepared. That's one thing.
We're going to be ready for the Wolves, man, because our the schedule is bad enough, but we're going to be really starting the season off on the road mostly.
That'll probably work out great for them. That probably work out great for our young players. They won't have to read them newspapers, the New York tablet, none of that.
And no fans.
Exactly. I know it's definitely going to help Knox. I feel like he's going to benefit the most from them stadiums being empty.
Yep.
And Frank.
He's another one. And DSJ.
Well, I don't think DSJ hears anything in that head.
I think he's gonna surprise us this year. I really do.
I hope so. He's a good kid, and I wish the best for him.
I don't look at it as like he got traded for KP. That's done with. You just gotta now. This is his last chance, to be honest with you, in the league. He's got to prove something to the whole league that he can still play.
Yeah, contract year, because if he doesn't pull up, he might be playing in China next year.
Yeah.
Either China. No, somebody will pick him up and feel like they can be the coach to fix him. Anytime a person has any ounce of talent, exceptional talent, put it that way. As long as the coach can feel like they can fix.
He's a wild card like J.R. Smith. He's like one of those guys. Like he has the talent. Somebody's got to get it out of him.
I tell you what, J.R. Smith when J.R. was right, J.R. was a two-way player when his head was in. When he was locked in, he was a two-way player.
6th man of the year. Jason Kidd and Woody got it out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then when his head gets lost, he screws up in the NBA Finals.
What he do is he go untie people's shoes.
This game is all about confidence, especially for guys like that. He's got to just be confident. He's got to be mentally tough.
Hey, Joe, will you ever forget LeBron's face looking at JR when he made that blunder? That was like classic, man. What the hell are you doing, man?
I
let you come on my team and you do this?
That whole thing was overrated. They wasn't winning that series, no way.
Hey, Arden, let me address Arden in the chat. Hey, Arden, I didn't say every player is going to surprise me. I called 3. So if you're going to quote me, you quote me right. You heard me?
You only said 3. You only said 3, to be fair. You said 3. Come on. Mm-hmm. Don't do man like that.
If you want to make a joke, you need to get your joke straight. If you want to write a book, you need to skip that chapter.
Man.
So I'll admit I'm a LeBron hater. I'll admit that. I mean, a great player. Got to give him credit for what he did this year. There's no doubt, even bubble or not. But I'm a hater. So was I happy that JR messed him up? Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what I said. My thought about LeBron is different between LeBron and Jordan. LeBron.
You knew that series was over when they lost game 1. LeBron had to look like we're done.
Mm-hmm.
That was the momentum mentally that broke them.
LeBron's magnificent, man. You got to give the guy
I love him. Hey, I love the kid, man. Some things he did was questionable. How he built that team down there in Miami. I didn't care for the running, but you can't take nothing from the guy, man. We have been blessed. We have been blessed to see this guy, man, especially for us in that 40 range bracket, to be able to see him, to see Kobe, to see Jordan. These are 3 guys that people was talking about who's the best. You know what I mean? We got a chance to see them.
Anybody that came from Ohio, they just end up being great. I don't know what it is about.
Now, mind you, I'm 34, and I remember vividly watching, and this is the reason why I'm the kind of person, like I'm 34, you would think I'm a LeBron fan, but I can't stand LeBron. I can't stand Jordan either because I'm a lifelong Knicks fan. But the difference to me is I remember watching Michael Jordan, and I remember watching Michael Jordan and thinking to myself, there is nothing anyone can do that can beat him. It's just the feeling is different. Because I watched LeBron, I was like, LeBron can be beat. His teams can be beat. But Jordan, I don't think Jordan wouldn't let anybody else win.
There was a certain fear in the arena. There was a certain fear in the arena with Jordan where you knew there's nothing you could do.
The coaches, everybody feared him, man.
With LeBron, in his prime, he looked in his eyes and he said, "Oh shit."
LeBron, sometimes the intangibles aren't there. That's the difference for me.
You know the difference. A good way to sum up them 2 guys is Jordan made you fear the team that he was playing for. Like you knew you wasn't going to beat any team that Jordan was going to be on. But the difference with LeBron is you fear LeBron.
That is poetry. No. Well said, man.
Disagree. Golden State didn't fear him.
Oh, they feared him. You know how you know they feared him? Let me give you a soundbite. You know how they fit. You know how they fit him when they lost that championship, and then Draymond got and cried and called KD to come down there and link up with him. That's how you know they feared him.
That Mavs team didn't fear him. Dirk beat him on his own.
He was a baby then, man. He didn't know nothing about winning. He didn't know nothing about winning.
Yeah, I think teams fear LeBron now, but when he was younger, in his younger days with the Spurs and the Mavericks, I think they didn't fear LeBron as much because he didn't know.
He didn't have that shooting down pack then. He couldn't really shoot. They would sag off him.
They were going under.
It was the Giannis effect.
The thing about LeBron is, but you know what the thing about LeBron was? The thing when things got tough, he moved. He couldn't do it in Cleveland, went to Miami. Got tough in Miami, went back to Cleveland. Done in Cleveland, then got tough for him in Cleveland. Had to go to the Lakers. Couldn't make the playoffs with the Lakers. Had to get.
Well, I give him credit on the Lakers one. Because he went to the Lakers. The Lakers wasn't nothing. The Lakers was just as bad as us, and he brought that franchise back.
To be fair, though, LeBron's playing with another top 5 player. I'm not taking anything away.
He built that, but I'm saying before 80 wasn't there when he first came. Now let's give the man his credit. When he went there with Alonzo and Kuzma and them guys.
Oh yeah. And
if he wouldn't have got hurt, they would have made the playoff. They would have got knocked out.
Yeah,
but they would have made the playoff if he hadn't got hurt. So you got to give LeBron his credit now. I kill him too, but he's a bad man.
A big difference is Jordan's people, and I say that it took Jordan 7 years to win his first championship, but it was to him. It was like, what can I do to uplift who is around me? How can I be better? LeBron is like, who can I play with
to make
that's that letter?
Hey Kevin, that's unfair because
that's 100% the truth.
That's the truth though.
Can I 100%? Can I finish? NBA helped out Boston so bad that he had no choice to be like, the NBA really trying to help out the Boston Celtics right now.
How did the NBA help Boston?
I would love for y'all to look up what did they get for Kevin. How did Boston even get Kevin Garnett, and what did they get? What was the trade for?
I can't help that Danny Ainge's best friend, old teammate, was running the Timberwolves.
You're right. Hey, that was something.
That's me calling my buddy. Like, listen, you know, I need some help. You know, we not gonna look up for the Celtic lore. Help me out.
But remember this:
that trade
KG had to sign off on that. Remember now, KG that just wasn't just a regular trade. KG had a no trade clause. He had to give up that no trade clause to go to Boston.
That was a big trade. That was definitely a big trade. To be fair to LeBron, like everybody talks about LeBron joining forces. What Boston did, to your point, I mean, I know people because it was more organic because it was through a trade, but still, you know, they were all trying to get there.
Oh yeah, they were.
But you gotta look at Boston. Technically, depleted their roster to get Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. Nobody knew that Rajon Rondo, who was I think his second year, was going to be the Rajon Rondo that he was. Kendrick Perkins was just like a backup that was elevated to a starter, and that's how that happened.
But then look who you got. You got Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen.
And that was true too.
You covering all 3 scoring options all game long. You got somebody down low. You got a 3-point shooter. You got a mid-range guy. And then you had Doc Rivers.
And you got to give a correction too, because
all you had to do then was fill the roster.
D. Jones brought up a good point too. D. Jones said KG only gave the okay once the Celtics traded for Ray Allen. So that's true. Yeah. That's true.
No, they didn't trade for Ray Allen. Ray Allen was a free agent.
No, Ray Allen wasn't. Ray Allen was traded. He was traded. He wasn't a free agent. The only person on that team that was on that team organically was drafted by Boston was Paul Pierce.
I think Ray Allen was the free agent went with the Heat. That was
he was a free agent. He left Boston to go to the Heat. Yeah, and that's why him and Rondo and them guys don't get along to this day.
They don't talk, and I understand that. I understand that completely.
But I tell you what, I gotta give LeBron his credit, and everybody know that if that Joker would have came and put this thing on, if he would have put that thing on, or we would have had a few.
I'm not even gonna lie to you.
And I would have been loving him. I'd have been loving him. We all would have been loving him.
That was
I'll admit that.
No,
I just like Jordan. Man, when I heard the reports that there was rumors that Jordan almost came to the Knicks, I was just like, what?
Man,
I started imagining that him and Patrick Ewing together. Oh my! You think LeBron and AD is unfair? Patrick Ewing and Jordan inside out?
see, look at here. After becoming a free agent on July 1st, 2010, Ray Allen signed a 2-year deal to Boston for $20 million. He was a free agent.
No. That was probably after Ray Allen got.
Yeah, because he signed an extension with them. I knew he signed an extension with Boston.
Yeah, because they won
the championship in 08.
Yeah, they won in 08. Oh,
yeah, they won in 08. So in 10, they did the extension because they were trying to see if they could still run that thing back to try to go ahead and make one more run at it.
Because then they lose to the Lakers the next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe bust them.
Yeah.
Kobe went and got in that gym.
Yo,
after
Teddy,
he got
you're
embarrassed.
from Ohio, right? Teddy, you're from Ohio, right?
Yep.
Is that what you said the last time in the chat? Now, yeah. That's why you love LeBron, because LeBron's the only.
So here was the trade. Here was the trade, guys. This is the trade. This was the trade.
Guess who else is from Ohio? Steph Curry.
What?
You know what? Here's the thing. I got you all beat because I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina. And I'm going to let you a minute to see who's from there.
Wilmington ain't the guy that killed.
Curry born.
I'm trying to think.
Michael Jordan from out there?
The home of Michael Jordan. It said when you welcome to Wilmington, home of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wilmington, North
I
Carolina.
can remember this actually. Okay.
Yeah.
The Celtics got Ray Allen and Big Baby Davis from the Supersonics for Delonte West, Wally Zerbiak, and Jeff Green.
Wow.
That wasn't a bad trade. Jeff Green was nice.
And we figured out good Wally was knocking down them threes, man.
And Wally didn't.
Wasn't Zerbiak an All-Star a couple times?
I believe
Wally
he did.
from Miami, Ohio.
Didn't he win a 3-point shooting contest or something?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's
Wally
right.
could shoot, man. And Delonte is a real sad story, boy.
Man, you know he looked like he's turning the corner though. I see Cuban trying to get him right, man.
Yeah,
Mark Cuban got him in rehab.
He's been
hopefully he get it together, man. Mental health is a serious thing.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And you see how LeBron buried people, man. You should have messed with his mama.
Yeah. Well, you know how that. Hey, it take two to tango.
Yeah.
It take two.
Yeah.
He flirted and she was down.
She jumped in that bet.
Hey, we'll never know the true story to that. You know what I mean? All we know is that that's what ran him from Cleveland the first time.
You can't hit everything. That's all you gotta say. You can't hit everything.
Yeah, you can't. You should have known. You should have been like, hey, nah, we can't. I can't go there with you. You my man. You my man's mom. That's where it ends. But you know what? Either way it go, that dynamic was gonna be messed up because if he would have went and told LeBron, then in LeBron's head he could probably be like, well, why my mom feeling like this? You see what I'm saying? So that relationship wasn't gonna never be the same again. He was gonna have to be traded.
I still remember how I felt after that stupid TV show, and I was so sad.
Oh man, when he had that shirt on and he made that decision.
I thought he was coming because of that stupid TV show at Greenwich, Connecticut. I still remember it, man.
Close to New York.
I still remember everyone.
You know
was like, "Oh, that's near Allen Houston's house." I remember it, man.
But you know what, though? It would have happened. I think it would have happened. But you know what messed it up?
I think Freezy is telling us we gotta start acknowledging the chat.
Okay.
Dolan messed up that whole thing.
What's up to the
Pat Riley getting that books cleared to get 3 because everybody only had a space to get 2. When he got that space for that 3, that was a wrap.
That's the biggest mistake we've made in for 30 years, not keeping Pat Riley. In my opinion.
Pat did us wrong. Pat quit
us wrong.
He's in effect. He did effect.
Wrong. Pat did us wrong. He should have never went out there and got Charles Smith and them bum ass bums to come back when we had Xavier McDaniel giving Scottie Pippen migraines. We took him to 7 games, man. We had him the next year.
Xavier and Howard. Xavier Howard right from my way.
Xavier had them in
Columbia, South Carolina.
So you don't think Pat Riley would have won a championship here if he stayed?
Yes, he would have.
Not when he picked up Charles Smith and them. Nope. He the one who messed it up. Look what Charles Smith and them did. He did that Doc Rivers, Charles Smith, Bo Kimball, and who else? And the best thing came out that trade was Derek Harper. Everything else was trash. It was straight trash. No way.
I'm just impressed.
Charles Smith didn't have the heart. He didn't have no heart.
I'll give Pat Riley this. The fact that he could completely change his entire coaching philosophy from running gun style in LA to gritty defense in New York. I mean, I'll give him credit for that.
That wasn't really that hard. Let me tell you why. He battled the Boston Celtics in the finals for 5-6 years. He knew the style of play in the East. That wasn't that hard. He even transformed the Lakers when he got Kirk Rambis and them hard-hitting boys down in there. So he kind of like mixed in that fast break with the bruising style of the East. When he came east to the Knicks, he tried to bring that west to the East. That wasn't working. Michael wasn't having that. Mike wasn't having that. And then you pick them soft players to do it. Them players didn't win nowhere. They never won anywhere. They was LA Clippers for anybody that come from the LA Clippers. You should have known not to get.
Kevin says in the chat, Riley wanted the control he has in Miami now. That's my point. Like, I don't know if Riley had all the control when he was in New York. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Who was running the Checkets?
Yeah.
Dave Checkett.
Yeah. Ernie Grunfeld and Checkets.
I mean, I look at it as, you know, it's unfair to say that because obviously Jordan wasn't letting nobody win.
Well, you can say that now in hindsight, but at the time, the Knicks wasn't scared of them.
Was that 92?
When Mason and them came along and Starks, they just beat them. But every year, you can tell that they thought that they had the Bulls. But they just never did it. In hindsight, you can say, okay.
Well, we have 2-0 in the 92 series.
They the only ones that ever took Chicago to 7 games.
You know, I don't know if y'all remember the Jordan documentary, the Last Dance. What pissed me off is the episode where Jordan was like, they had a whole one episode of the Bulls versus the Pacers series, and how Jordan was like, that's their biggest competition. And I was like, did y'all not remember? Y'all had like 3-4 years.
Jordan just didn't want to give New York a prop. He just didn't want to give it to him. He was straight lying.
I was like, wait a minute.
He lied on purpose to get back at Jeff Van Gundy. And
between 90 and 93, y'all had to go through New York. We gave y'all the a harder shot than anything the Pacers gave y'all.
He was lying, man.
Yeah, he was lying.
And this was kind of pissed me off. I was like, wait a minute. The Pacers was not y'all biggest competition.
Everybody knows that he hated John Starks and Jeff Van Gundy and wanted to get back at his buddy Pat for that. So, yeah, he was definitely lying.
Yeah, he was definitely lying. That was straight up lying. I looked at him like, yeah, right. We know what we went through.
Because like I said,
your hand and your boy.
Was that 92 we had them up? Was it two games? We had them 3. Was it 3-2 we had them up in 92?
93. That was 90. That was the Charles Smith fake.
Yeah, 93. The
only thing in that documentary I didn't like is how they made Scottie Pippen look. I didn't like that, man. Scottie Pippen was a great player. And
he had to pay the price for the shit he did.
I think they made Scottie out to be like Scottie was great, and Michael couldn't have done the things without Scottie, but Scottie did some jacked up shit during that time too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, signing that contract. Yeah, signing that contract and then sitting out wanting a new contract when the owner told him not to sign the contract.
I mean, but
Michael said he was selfish.
He was. He didn't come into the game. The stuff with with Tony Kukoc shot.
He was jealous. He was jealous of Kukoc.
I'm not saying Pippen was the greatest, and maybe he was a little selfish. I don't know. I just thought it was over the top for me. But maybe, I don't know.
Let's be real. What superstar player, great player, ain't selfish?
I look at it like, and I had when I was watching it. There's a moment in that series that made me think of RJ and Knox. And I think Knox needs this kind of moment for himself when the Pistons knocked down Scotty. And I think that was when Scotty kind of realized like he had reached that point to where they coming after him because they know how good he is. But Scotty needed Mike to pick him up. He needed someone to know, I have your back. And I think that's what Knox needs from RJ is if everyone, the media, the fans, everybody loves RJ. And I think he sees how they diss him. But I think if RJ goes and Knox like, I got your back if you have mine, that would elevate Knox and give him even more confidence. Because RJ needs Knox just like Knox needs RJ. Because I'm not comparing them to Scotty and Mike, but I'm saying if they grow together and reach the potential that they have, then we don't need outside superstars. We had grow our own because again, no one has ever questioned the talent that RJ and Knox has. A lot of it is mental, a lot of it is coaching, a lot of it is just other factors, but just pure talent. No one says that they can't. They just have to be in a situation to put it together. But I think a moment has to come for Knox. That is like a moment had to come for Scotty.
The thing I like about you is that in every situation you always go back to this. Reminds me of what Knox and RJ does. I got to start doing that when I watch these documentaries, man. Think about it.
It is. Listen,
I like that. I like that.
I'm waiting for 2050 when the Knicks have that documentary about what started the Knicks dynasty. Okay, I'm waiting for that 30 years.
You know what they're gonna say? You know what they're gonna say? It started when we signed Leon Rose. When we signed Leon Rose,
I'm telling you, 2050, the Knicks documentary.
Yep.
When we got Leon Rose was the beginning of change. Just remember that day. That's gonna be a day where we look back on and we're gonna be like, that was the smartest move James Dolan could have done.
It's gonna be the end of the Steve Mill era.
I tell you what,
malpractice is over.
Exactly.
The Knicks gonna do a whole lot better because it's gonna come down to I see the number one scoring option is gonna be Obi. Watch.
Oh yeah. Eventually that's who it's gonna be.
It's gonna eventually be Obi. And then once that is formed, that's when they're gonna take off.
Yeah, because Knox ain't gonna have no pressure if he's still here. RJ ain't gonna have no pressure because now you got three guys that can score. And that's any championship team, you have to have two major scores, and you gotta have that one that just gets you 15 every night. And play good defense.
Sure, when you forgot Karl Malone, I would add Karl Malone to that list, but that's just me. I like Karl Malone back then.
Karl Malone was a beast, man. He was a beast. The mail ran every day, even on the weekend.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Except for when he played Jordan.
Yeah.
And I think they said something, but when they played on that Saturday night, Jordan told him that the mail don't run on Saturday.
I'm looking in the chat.
On Sunday, it was some mess he told him.
I'm looking in the chat, and Sherwin, I would say this. When was that? When did Jordan sit out? 94? In 94, Scottie Pippen probably was next to King, the second best player in the NBA.
Man, you crazy.
No, I'm gonna tell you, I felt like Scottie should have been MVP that year.
Go look at his stats.
I'm gonna tell you, he had I think about 27. Was it about 27?
Nope. Look at his stats.
In 94.
Didn't he average about 27?
They've been throwing that around. Look at his stats. They've been throwing that around. Look at Scottie Pippen's stats.
The Bulls in 94 was what, the second seed in the East?
I'm gonna look up his stats right now. Let me look it up. You said 1994?
94, when the Knicks made the finals and beat Chicago in the Eastern Conference Finals. Chicago was like either the second or third team.
I got it.
Look at Scottie Pippen's stats.
I got it. What year you want?
94.
Right 94, 95, or 93, 94?
93, 94.
93, 94. Okay. He averaged 22 points, almost 9 rebounds, almost 6 assists.
Yeah, I felt like he should have been MVP that year because nobody when Jordan left, nobody expected Chicago to keep going.
That same year.
No, but hold on. What seed was the Chicago Bulls that year in the playoffs?
Well, they was under us.
They were second.
We met them in the conference finals. So
I think they were second seed.
Third.
They had to be in second seed.
They could have been second or third.
But anyway, so Scottie Pippen led a Jordanless Chicago Bulls team in a transition year to the second seed in the Eastern Conference.
And don't forget this.
And
the only reason why we won that series, that phantom call. And I took that one. I said, by the time we get something go our way, I opened my eyes. I was like, oh, man.
Somebody said the Bulls were the third seed.
Scottie Pippen's a great player, dude, but let's not get crazy here. I mean, he was could he be the best player on a championship team? I don't think so.
Hey, Sprewell, answer this though. I hear what you're saying, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But answer this: when Jordan left the game of basketball, did anybody think that the Bulls were going to even be that kind of team?
Oh no!
After Jordan left, and that's why I felt that he should have been the MVP. He carried that team. He carried them.
I give him respect. I
think that's when Scottie made a name for himself more so than anything because there was no Jordan to fall back on.
That's true.
He's one of the most dominant defensive players I've ever seen, Scottie.
I still say the greatest wing defender in my book.
Scottie Pippen is the best on-ball defender I've probably ever seen in my life.
Period. He was a better defender than Jordan.
Nobody was better than. That's what people like. Oh, when they say the Bulls could have beat like the Warriors team, like who could guard? Like Scottie Pippen can guard the
anyone
1 through 4.
I was just talking about that the other night, Kevin. Hey, man, Jordan and Scottie Pippen would have. Them boys, somebody would have had to go call DSS, man, because it would have been child abuse. It would have been child abuse.
I just don't think he can carry the load offensively. That's my only thing with him. Look, I mean, there are other guys that can carry the load offensively. Pippen is great there. I'm not trying to knock him. I'm just telling you.
It's one of those things. I remember you remember the Dream Team, the game against Croatia, when Jordan and Pippen was guarding Kukoc from the other end and made Tony Kukoc cry.
Tap out. I give up.
I mean, that's the kind of defense. Because Pippen was a better. People wanted to say Jordan was a great defender. Pippen was a much better defender. Pippen was one guarding Magic in the '91 finals. That was Pippen mainly guarding Clyde Drexler against Portland.
Pippen was long, and Pippen could move his feet. I mean, the guy was an exceptional defender, man. And he was an exceptional, and he could rebound.
Will someone please give Kevin Knox Scottie Pippen's phone number?
That's who you need to talk to.
Will someone please find Scottie Pippen, Kevin Knox?
That's who we need to talk to for real.
For real.
Because I mean,
I just want to say one thing about Latrell Sprewell because I got somebody in the chat asking me why my name is that. I'll just say this. I've never seen a guy, and obviously I grew up a Knicks fan, but I've never seen a guy on the break, and obviously that two-handed dunk. Nobody does that dunk with that grunt like him. But I've never seen a guy. Right, maybe in today's game you could say Westbrook that plays with that passion and intensity, maybe. But I still haven't seen a guy play like Sprewell with that intensity. I really haven't since him. And that 99 team. I don't know what your thoughts are, but that's my opinion.
Fair comparison is Russell Westbrook, but the only thing. I mean, when Sprewell used to go up to dunk, man, he acted like he wanted to tear the rim off.
He was playing at a different speed.
He was the perfect player in free agency to come to New York. He was to the point that you wish that he was drafted by New York. That's just how great he was when he came to New York, man. It was like when I found out that day that we got him, I was like, all I could remember is just, man, that Golden State Latrell Sprewell we about to get in the Garden.
Ron,
and the pressure he was going to take off of Pat Ewing.
Ron, do you know what I'm looking forward to seeing? I'm looking forward to seeing Obi come in and dunk and put LeBron's ass on the floor. I'm looking
Boy,
forward.
hey,
I'm
you know,
looking forward to seeing that.
you
He's
know,
gonna
Joe,
poke
you
your eyes a
kind
lot
of
people
remind me
this
of
year.
Moses, man.
What?
on how you are, LeBron, man. You reminded me of Moses right now with Frank.
I just think LeBron is a little bit overhyped.
Yeah, no.
This is why I want people. People was
Say what?
No. You get your basketball pass revoked for that one. I'm gonna let you slide. I'm gonna let you slide tonight because you're a Knicks fan. But if you was anybody else saying that, I might have to stop talking basketball with you. LeBron is not overhyped, man. That dude is the real deal. And
I
let's
know
just
he's
be
the
real.
real deal, but everyone talks about him like he's God.
You know, I'm gonna tell you. You know what happened, Joe? Let's be real. You know what has happened? You got what they call LeBron fatigue. The man has been so good for so long that it's just like Tom Brady. You look at New England and they kept winning and kept winning and kept winning. After a while, you tired of that. And that's all it is, man.
You just take it for granted, man.
No,
you take when he's gone, you realize how good he was. Same thing with Kobe, man.
There's only a few players we've ever seen that could take a team on their back. We said, and you got to give LeBron, man.
He carried Daniel Gibson, Zildrunas, Ilgauskas.
That's my point.
Booby Gibson,
Sasha Pavlovich. I mean, come on, man.
How old is LeBron right now? This is the last time we're going to see a guy that can play this long into their career and still be a top player.
But they go in year 20. Spend $1 million on his body.
Yeah, the guy's a freak actor.
He's an anomaly, man.
I'm not denying that, but I'm like, when did LeBron win a chip on his own without having an all-star or a superstar?
Hey, Joe.
That Cleveland team. Cleveland. That's when he made a name for himself, really. That one title in Cleveland meant more than anyone that he won in Miami. That one title in Cleveland.
What player ever won a ring on their own that you know?
Exactly. Good point, Rob. Good point.
As the only All-Star on the team.
Every player, every superstar can talk.
Dirk Nowitzki when Dallas beat Miami.
No, he had Jason Kidd was on that.
Jason Kidd was at the end of his career by
then.
But
look, he was still balling though.
He was dropping that corner three.
Hold on. What I asked was an All-Star to play with another All-Star that season.
That's a Hall of Famer.
Top five player. I mean, in the league at that current time.
At the end of his career, it's not like Jason Kidd was Jason Kidd. He was in New Jersey.
He balled out that series.
Jason Terry wasn't an all-star, but he was playing like an all-star.
Hey, Joe, the chat said, someone in the chat said you need to get a little bit closer to your mic. They're having a problem hearing you.
Hey, we don't need to hear Joe no more after this. It's over, Joe.
All right, hey. Yeah, why? Go over to the Lakers. If you're going to be kissing LeBron's ass, go over to the Lakers.
I'll tell you this much. I'll say this, and I guess kind of the pivot. This is why I wanted Obi. When was the last time? You remember when Sports Center comes on and they play like the top clips and plays from the day? When was the last time a Knicks player, not an opponent of the Knicks, but a Knicks player was on like a clip for something they did for like the top play on ESPN? Because imagine if Obi Toppin did that between the legs dunk he did at Dayton in a Knicks jersey.
Last time you saw that was KP when KP stole the ball.
I mean, could y'all imagine if the garden is packed and Obi did it between the dunk's leg? I mean, a between the legs dunk in the garden during the game.
Nate Robinson.
Obi.
Oh, okay.
If Obi
pulled that crazy, he did at Dayton in the garden.
And you know what's gonna be crazy, Kev? You know who else gonna start doing crazy dunks? Mitch. Watch out of nowhere. Mitch gonna start doing something.
And you know what's gonna happen? Boink.
But that's the thing. Like Obi is the kind of player that if Obi gets to, and I know he's 22, but I still think there's another level that Obi can get to. But if he becomes like a superstar, that is like literally a walking highlight. Someone who's wearing a New York Knicks jersey. Like, we all believe that RJ is going to be like an all-star type of player, but RJ is not going to be like that phenomenal athlete like Obi is.
I tell you this, Kev. Out of all them guys that got drafted, man, to me, he looked like he could be the one to become that.
Did you see Obi's shot the last couple of days video? It's effortless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Effortless.
it's not a lot of movement in his shot. It's just it's very fluid, and he don't get off the ground high neither. He don't have to jump high to take a shot. That's another thing I think will work to his advantage, because that means he can get a shot off quick.
Yeah, and he already has a better jump shot than LeBron James.
Someone in
let's give LeBron a pass, because LeBron when LeBron came in the league, LeBron came straight from high school.
Somebody in the chat said, and I actually agree. Like Obi is basically like an in his prime Blake Griffin. Yeah, and if Obi tops out like Blake Griffin, I'll still be happy.
I think he's gonna be better, because I think the mentality
than Griffin.
Griffin mentality for as super tough as he was. Like if you throw on the tape and you look at this guy, the stuff he's doing, you'd think that he was mentally tough, but he wasn't mentally tough, and that's why the Clippers could never get over the hump.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Blake sometimes would check out and the passing, and I think Obi's got a chance with the intangibles to be better than Blake Griffin, but we'll see.
I'm going to tell you a very fair comparison to Obi, and I'm telling you, if people didn't know who Amari Stoudemire was, go back and look at when Amari Stoudemire was going up against San Antonio and what he did to Tim Duncan. I'm talking to Tim Duncan in his prime. Amari was demolishing him.
And I'll say, and that's amazing, because if you think about it, Tim Duncan's one of the greatest defensive big men in the history of the game, and he struggled with Amari.
He did. Amari ate his lunch, man.
Yeah. It's too bad his knees went out. At least he had one good year here.
If we could have got him 3 years sooner.
Yeah.
3 years sooner. When Melo came, we could have got him 3 years sooner. Miami wouldn't have ruled the East.
It was a shame, but it's okay.
That was the last, and you know what? I got to give kudos to James Dolan. That was the last time I think he was like, no more of this buying players that got questionable problem with any kind of injuries. I'm not just going to throw the money at them without having them reports to look at. And that's and for as much as everybody want to talk about, KD didn't choose New York, James Dolan didn't want to give that money up until he saw them medicals, and rightfully so. I'm not going to put that kind of money on somebody with no without seeing them medicals.
Can we talk about that?
And at that age.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Will Kyrie or KD end the season? Can we talk about it?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Where they going to end at?
Will Kyrie or KD even finish or have a full season?
No.
I don't think so.
Well, at least Kyrie definitely won't.
I don't think so. I don't think so. That Achilles, man, people downplaying that Achilles, that ain't nothing easy to come back from.
No joke, man.
They're gonna play KD on low management straight for the beginning anyway, and then Kyrie might have his nights off too.
Yeah,
Kyrie haven't had a healthy season since he's been in the league.
Exactly. That's
not even in college.
Exactly.
No, not even in college. Yeah,
because the 1 year he was in college, he got hurt.
Yeah, Duke.
Kyrie sent an email out a few days ago saying he's not talking to the media.
Talking to the media, yeah.
Man, don't believe that.
Well,
you know better than that. He can't help himself. He can't help himself.
One, he can't not talk to. He has to be available for the media.
Did you guys read the email? That was entertaining.
He can say that, but Adam Silver gonna call. What was the GM of the Nets? He'll be like,
hey, this man trying to jump in. He trying to jump in the podcast.
You said State?
Yeah, State trying to jump in.
I'm happy we didn't get Kyrie. I really am.
I'm gonna tell you what. If it meant for us to get KD that we had to get Kyrie, I was telling people, man, my little nephews and stuff. They're like, man, I had Kevin Durant going to the Knicks. How you feel about that? And I told him, I said, if we got to get Kyrie, I don't want KD.
He's not a good
Kyrie is a team killer, man.
Yeah,
he's a great talent, and he can't stay healthy. The best ability in sports is availability, and if you ain't available, you have no ability.
Right.
Period.
How do you ruin a situation? How do you ruin a situation when you're playing with LeBron? Let's dive even deeper than that, because he didn't ruin the situation with LeBron. He just decided to force his way. He wanted to be on his own, rightfully so. I understand. At some point, you want to be your own man. I got to give him credit. Yeah, but he can't.
This is what he really ruined. This is where you're missing the point. to what you're saying. Exactly. When he got hurt, he watched that Boston team was one game away from getting to the finals, and you come back the next year and you telling these guys, you going in the media talking about these guys got to learn how to win. I don't blame them young guys to look at like, dude, is you crazy? We was that close to getting. Only thing he should have done is like, hey, look, from looking at the sideline, oh, I'm the missing piece. All I got to come in here and do is just facilitate, because I got a team. But he acted as if he didn't have a team.
Yeah,
he's not a leader.
I think he underestimated. Look, I get it. I respect. I hear you. I respect like the fact that you want to be your own guy and give that a shot. I'm all for that. I just think again, there's only so many times where you can play with a guy like that, and I think sometimes you got to swallow your pride a little bit and realize what you have. So I hear you.
So that's the problem going to be in Brooklyn. He's going to be thinking he's the guy in Brooklyn. No, KD is the guy.
And let's be real too. Another reason why he left Cleveland is because he hadn't got wind that LeBron was leaving. So he was not going to be in the same situation. He didn't want to be in Cleveland by himself. So he was like, "Hey, let me get out before you get out." Yeah, they knew LeBron wasn't staying.
Yeah, because he was in Cleveland. He was in Cleveland by himself for what was it, 2 years or 3 years before LeBron?
2 or 3 years, I think, about 3, close to 3 years.
I wouldn't want to be in Cleveland by myself. That's not a good thing.
No.
Nobody wants that.
The days of having one superstar on the team. That's why I keep saying, man, I really do feel like we're gonna benefit from that Dallas pick this year. I don't see KP playing the whole season, and at some point they're gonna wear Luka down.
I truly, I don't know if it's a hope. I don't know if it's just foresight, but I do believe that RJ. If RJ, okay, let me put it like this: where are the Knicks going to be if RJ averages 20? If we have, I don't believe that Randle's going to finish the season with the Knicks. But let's say
I'm with you on that too.
I think he'll start out, but I don't think he's going to finish the season with the Knicks. I don't know who he's going to trade for him, but I do not see him on this team. But let's say RJ averages 20. Let's say Obi comes in with 18. Let's say Knox gets up to 16. Let's say Mitch gets his double-double. Let's just say 12. Let's say he gets a Dale Davis double-double. I don't know what a Dale Davis double-double is.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. Indiana, that guy was tough, man. Them Davis boys.
And we get something out of the point guards. But even if we trade Randle, it's going to be for a point guard.
From a usage rate standpoint, RJ and Randle are already 50% of the usage rate.
But if we get production from them, is this Knicks team a fringe playoff team? Like, are we a top 10 team in the East?
Absolutely. If we get that kind of production, we'll be in the playoffs. We'll be in the playoffs. We know we're gonna play defense. That's the only thing really we have to worry about, because we got guys that got the potential for scoring. So far, we know we got Randle coming back. That's 20 plus a night.
Cause let's run down the East right quick.
Obi, he gonna get the points. We just need one more person. Like I always say, you need that third scorer.
That's why I think Knox is going to play a really big role in this, because Knox can score. I don't think that's the thing. I think people looked at last year like, what's going on with Knox, because we thought he was a scorer, but he's not scoring.
You guys buy into the Buddy Hield stuff or no?
I think where there's smoke, there's fire. Because let's be real, when names start getting thrown out, it's one thing to just say, well, the Knicks looking to trade so and so, but when they start saying potential names,
yeah,
I think it's some truth to the rumor. Will it happen? Will it happen? But as a GM, we know this: GM and presidents, their job is to make sure that they make the team better.
Right.
Period.
The question is, where is the rumor coming from? Because I don't think it's a Knicks generated rumor.
No, I think it's
it might be on the other side.
Yeah, it might be on the other side. I just think we need to see. I don't think the Knicks should do anything right now. They should.
From what Leon Rose has shown, from my understanding of the rumors, is Sacramento wants draft capital. And from what Leon Rose has shown is he's trying to acquire, not give it up, draft capital. That's why I don't read too much into it, because Leon Rose has shown like he's not trying to give up any of his draft capital he's already acquired. And if he does, it's not going to be for a player like Buddy Hield.
No, it's going to be for a bona fide superstar.
We need to see what we have in this preseason. So this is my opinion. Don't make any trades right now. Give this thing 20 games, and then we can have a conversation what we need and what we don't need.
Hey, while y'all talking, while we on the subject of this, you know I can see shaking loose? That thing in Minnesota may go south.
See, I look at it. See, that's the thing about Minnesota. It's Karl Anthony Towns, and as much as Karl Anthony Towns has gone through this year, with losing his mom and some of his other family members, the fact that he's playing with his best friend in D'Angelo Russell, I don't see him wanting out of Minnesota.
Hey, we can all want to play with our friends, but if it goes bad, hey, Russell Westbrook and James Harden wanted to play again. Look how that worked out. Now they don't want to play together, but hey, they recognize that we still boys, but we just can't play together.
That's because their styles of play didn't match, and they realized we can be friends, but the fact that our style of play don't match is D'Angelo Russell actually compliments Cat.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that he is the point and Cat is the center. Yeah. That on paper it should work. I'll say that much. On paper it should.
Russell Westbrook and James Harden, they're both ball dominant players. And so I agree. Houston got to a point where it's like, okay, it's my turn, it's your turn. It's my turn, it's your turn. It wasn't cohesive.
It wasn't smooth. It was just, here you go, this is your time. I'm gonna take a back seat. Yeah. So, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But I don't want to see no big trades right now. I just want to see what this thing, like I say, I want to see at least 15 games with these guys playing before I start saying anything about any of them. Like I said, man, I'm wiping the slate clean on all these guys.
I'm with you.
On the coaching staff. But after 15 games, I'm gonna know. Matter of fact, no, I'm gonna give them 20. I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna give them 20. After 20 games, then I know who you are, and I can say something about you, because now you've had 20 games to play with this new coach and staff. So let's just see what you're gonna do.
So let me ask you something, Ron.
All want to make a break, pretty much.
So let me ask you something, Ron. On Friday night, after the Pistons game, what are you expecting?
That's the first game.
Our first game against the Pistons on Friday.
Preseason.
What are you expecting to see that game?
What I'm expecting to see, for one, is a team that I know is gonna come out and play hard. If they come out and play hard on the defensive end, I'm not too worried about offense, because you can find any fool to shoot. But that defense, you got to find players that want to play defense. And that's going to be the determining factor. I want to see them play hard on that defensive end. And defense got a way of making everything else easy for you. So that's what I want to see. And I want to see Kevin Knox. I want to see him take the next step. And I want to see Frank take the next step as well. DSJ, I'm still kind of leery.
I want to ask y'all that. What are y'all expecting to see Friday night?
Well, to me, hold on, we're playing the Pistons, so it's not going to be tough competition.
I see my man in the bottom left. The bottom left, the guy that just entered the chat. I like this guy. I don't know. I've never met him. I'll just say this. I was watching.
He's a knowledgeable guy, man. He be having them great points, and then he just look and see the reaction.
I gotta say this. I'm entertained Saturday or Sunday when you were on this channel and I was watching for the first time. I gotta say, you were entertaining as hell, man. I like you more than all the other guys. You were funny, man.
I'm sorry to kill a vibe, but I'm sitting here looking at Porzingis highlights, and I'm hoping one of these kids become an all-star, because this is disgusting.
That's fair.
Hold on. This is what I really want to do. We bring back Alfred Payton.
Here we go.
I hear the stuff about DSJ and Alfred Payton being the running for the starting point guard position. You trade Porzingis for this kid. Stop trying to save face. It looked like you're saving face. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but if I see DSJ start, he better produce. I better be. I got to see minimum 15, 6, and effective winning because. Come on now. I'm looking at Porzingis highlights, man. It's 7'3". Where did we go wrong? And how did we end up here now?
State.
Front
Where
office.
Hold on. Where we went wrong is we did not appease our draft pick. I vividly remember Porzingis asking these dudes to let Frank Ntilikina start. They still started Jared Jack. If you get a guy like Porzingis and his brother wants part of whatever he wants, whatever his brother wants, and you got a guy like that, you got to do a lot more than what the Knicks did to keep him here. When I hear people talk about let's trade RJ, let's trade Knox, Frank.
Whoa, nobody said that.
No. But just in general, when I hear garbage like that, it just makes me think about Porzingis. We got to stick with the rebuild. Don't do no shortcut nonsense moves. And we're going to be fine. We're going to be just fine.
I want to say something to that.
Hold on 1 second. State, you can watch Porzingis highlights because you're not going to see. That's all you might be able to see over the next couple of years of Porzingis.
And I was going to say that as
a good point.
What Ron said earlier. What did you say earlier about availability, Ron?
It's the best in sports. The best ability is availability, and if you ain't available, you have no ability.
And so my thing is, Porzingis ain't going to be available for a while.
So let me ask you a question, right? Mm-hmm. Porzingis with RJ and Mitch.
Oh man,
Randle with RJ and Mitch. So now I get more annoyed.
Hold on.
The organization.
That's a nice thought, but if Porzingis on the Knicks right now, he's still being suit and tie on the sideline.
I mean,
while RJ and Mitch on the court.
No. My point of bringing that up is I don't want Knicks fans to jump ship with the rebuild. Like we gotta stick with what we're doing. I'm so glad that Leon Rose did not throw out any of these garbage contracts that I've seen. That
100%.
Hey, State, to your point, when you ask what happened, you know what happened? Front office malpractice. That's what happened. That's why we lost KP for a bag of peanuts, and because we could have got. Matter of fact, what was so terrible about the trade? It wasn't so much that we got DSJ, but the fact that the rest of the teams in the league didn't even know that we were trading KP. They said they were shocked.
Yeah,
they didn't get a phone call, so we just pigeonholed ourselves with one team. We could have leveraged that thing and got a lot more.
Yeah, but I think what happened was Porzingis wanted Steve Mills fired, and I remember vividly Steve Mills blocking the meeting between Porzingis and James Dolan, which ended up Porzingis being traded. But I don't want the same thing to happen with RJ Barrett.
No, that ain't happening with RJ, man.
This guy is the number 3 overall draft pick. I need to see my young boy on ball. I do not want to see him off ball this season. So for his sake and for this team's sake, I hope Tibbs do the right thing. Now, if DSJ's named the starter, and mind you, I just said they traded him for Porzingis, so you got to see where I understand it. But if he's the starter, I hope he produced and I hope he come to defend because Tibbs is going to sit him. And if Tibbs,
you know that.
You're going to be sitting you're not going to be sitting for a game.
Because if
the thing. Tibbs is the type, he'll have a 10-man rotation. He's going to be forced to have a 10-man rotation. But if he see you jogging back, not trying to play to win, you're not going to play.
You're not playing.
See, this is the thing, State. This is the thing. I hear what you're saying about DSJ, but really, this front office ain't tied to DSJ. And we know James Dolan is letting Leon Rose do his thing. That bond is better than what he had with Phil because he had none with Phil. It was just a contract thing, and Phil name was who he was. But Leon Rose and and James Dolan goes back a ways. And James Dolan, not James Dolan, but Tibbs and Leon Rose, that was his agent. You see what I'm saying? So these boys ain't tied to really none of these players. Let's be real. The only people they tied to is the ones that they just brought in the draft.
I say RJ is probably the only one who's really RJ, Obi, Knox. The four players that Tibbs named. The four players that Tibbs named that first media conference. RJ, Obi, Knox, and Quickly. That's the four right there.
That's his guys. That's what he brought in.
He's gonna zero in on him. I'm hoping IQ can start. I'm sick of this point guard carousel that's going on, man.
Well, I tell you what.
I don't think he's going. I don't think
probably
he has the handles.
I don't think it's going to be at the beginning of the season is going to get that much burn.
I think it's going to be Frank.
I don't think Quickly is going to make the 10-man rotation in the beginning of the season.
I disagree.
IQ and Burks are the two best shooters on the team. They have to play.
They gotta play. They gotta play by default. Like IQ has to find time for him on the floor.
All right, so let me ask y'all. What is okay? Let's say you got RJ, Randle, Knox, Obi, Mitch, Noel.
What was the question?
I'm going down to 10. The 10 that's going to be in the rotation at the beginning.
In the rotation.
After preseason or pre-preseason?
Let's say going into Friday. No, I say going into the game against Indiana.
So that's the first game of the season.
Yeah, the first game of the season. So you got, like I said, you got RJ, Randle, Knox, Mitch, Noel,
Obi,
Rivers.
The only reason I'm kind of skeptical on Rivers is because Tibbs said that Rivers hasn't been playing much because he has an injury.
Yeah, he got a groin. They're trying to watch that groin.
He's going to play. He's going to
They signed a 3-year deal not to play him.
Rivers and Burks are going to play.
So Rivers, Burks, that's already 8 right there.
Knox is going to play too because Kenny Payne.
I said Knox.
All right, and Quickly's going to play because of Kenny Payne as well. He's gonna play.
Did you hear? And you heard where Tibbs was saying how Knox impressed him. Knox, he talked about Frank.
Frank. Thibodeau glowed today when he brought up Kevin Knox.
Yeah, because he's a wild card. He wasn't expecting to see what he's seeing out of Knox.
He said Kevin Knox has impressed him, and
both practices. And like I mentioned earlier, both these practices have been defensive practices.
Yeah, I know they're getting after it.
They're not even practicing offensive sets here. They're practicing defensive sets. And if Knox is impressing on defensive practices, then I don't know what the hell is going on.
State, I got to
starting.
I got to respond.
Knox is definitely starting.
I got to just say response to State because we addressed this earlier in the video. All the concerns you have. Look, Tom Thibodeau doesn't get a free pass. I'm going to judge him just like I judge any coach. Let's see how he does. But the bottom line is, he's earned my respect. I believe in this guy. And all your concerns about the rotations and lineups and things the things in the past we can't control, man. We can't control the KP thing. I'm moving on. I'm giving these dudes a clean slate. This front office has not committed malpractice yet. Now, granted, it's only been a few months, but they have not committed malpractice yet. So we got to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I need you to stay with me. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's all we got to do as Knicks fans, man. Just give them guys a chance, man. Just give them a chance. You know what the problem is? We done been bamboozled so much and just run amok with the front office.
Cleveland, like, remember this? Remember when this shit is crazy. Remember when David Fizdale and these dudes had their first press conference?
Oh yeah, talking about they gonna make people respect the garden and all that.
No, it wasn't even that. That's what got me. What got me was the we're not going to skip steps. Like that quote right there, that's a quote that sticks with me with every regime that I've ever watched with the Knicks. Like this skipping steps part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe Steve Mills.
Yes, and what they did last season.
Who believes Steve Mills? Steve Mills said this was a playoff team.
But you gotta
understand. I want some of that.
We gonna
you know what that was? He was trying to save his job. So that's all that was.
And
Yeah,
then when
Steve
they had,
would say this was a playoff team. He was full of
Yeah.
and then they had that asinine press conference about how they're disappointed, how things need to change.
Well, you know what?
That's embarrassing.
Only thing
I
I
was like,
can
what
say was
the hell
disappointed.
is
I can
going
say
on
this.
here?
I was disappointed to that point because we weren't running no kind of offense. We weren't running no kind of defense. I was disappointed. It was clear through them games that Fizdale had needed to be gone. Like that press conference should have been like, Fizdale is fired.
It wasn't even about. It wasn't
moving. But they didn't do that. They come out there and say, "Well, we're not happy with the guy," and then leave the guy as lame duck. That was malpractice in itself too. A bunch of malpractice have gone on over the years, man. With us.
Man. It wasn't even about the wins and losses. It's just like you said. It was the fact that Fizdale wasn't playing the right guys that were supposed to play. He wasn't playing the lineups. It had nothing to do with wins and losses. I wouldn't have cared if we were 0-10.
But you know what the problem was too with that though? Is that Fizdale, like I said, Fizdale, he takes the brunt for this because not only was that front office culpable for the mess they made, but Fizdale signed off on these guys. I remember Fizdale saying he finally got guys. He said he finally got guys that can run his defense. That he got guys that can run his defense. That's what he said on his own mouth.
I felt like when you look at it from the outside looking in, you know what's crazy? I defended Fizdale when we was 2-10. I defended we was 2-8. I forgot when we did that press conference, but I defended Fizdale. And the reason why was because it felt like all politics. Like it felt like somebody from upstairs was telling him who to play. And then at the same time, y'all gave him this roster and told him, oh, you got to play for the playoffs. So automatically, you're going to start moving, right? I remember when Kevin Knox was like, yeah, man, you know, I'm ready to be a leader. We got the young guys. You know, I'm going to teach the young guys. He was talking like he was one of the leaders.
I realized that you missed the first hour of this conversation.
Yeah, because he literally said the same exact thing.
Literally sapped all of the confidence out of him. Then,
that was the biggest mistake.
I'm watching.
We had like a 20-minute conversation about this. Yeah.
I love Sim. I love Sim from Nothing But Knicks. I love Sim to death. But he kills me when he says stuff like Randle did not see Barrett. He's seen Barrett. He is 25 years old. You cannot pass out of a double team. That is like it kills me about Randle. But then again, Randle gets the same excuse as DSJ, as Frank, as Kevin Knox. Garbage coaching.
Yeah, that's why we said, hey, we got to give them all a clean slate, man. Like I said, the jury is out.
Now, when
they coming back with a decision, going to be 20 games into the season. That's my jury coming back in, and I'm gonna tell you how I feel about our team. I'm gonna give them 20 games.
20 games.
If you ain't bought in, if you ain't doing what we expect you to do, you done been here 4 years, all of them. Hey, it's time for the train to leave Penn Station.
You got to give them 20 games. You got to give them 20 games. We can evaluate every game and come on here and we can talk about every game, but for us. 20 games is a fair sample size, man, for you to come on here and tell me what really we got to do.
Now, I can tell you how disappointed I am game to game, but when I'm going to start talking about players need to go, 20 games. I'm going to give them 20 games. I'm going to be fair, and then I'm going to just say, hey, it's apparent who we need to keep and who needs to go, man.
This is my thing, and this is, I listen to Legion of Knicks podcast, and he says coaching doesn't matter, players need to take accountability. No, a player is going to do what the coach tells him to, especially a young player.
Everything.
A young player is going to do what the coach tells him to do.
Yes.
And so if your coach doesn't even know what he's talking about most of the time, I'll give you a great example. I'll give you a football analogy. I'm a Jets fan. Everybody in the world knows
Adam Gase.
That play yesterday when
last
Greg
play.
Williams caught a zero blitz.
That was purposely done. That was purposely done.
Yeah, that's
Everybody knows that was the wrong play, but the players are going to play the play that the coaches do. So if David Fields says, Kevin Knox, you go over that corner, and Randle and Mook is going to play off each other. Kevin Knox is going to go to that corner. And then everybody else, it was like Kevin Knox is standing there with a deer in headlights, but David Fizdale is telling him to do this. And so when Kevin Knox and everything, when Kevin Knox runs down the court, shaking his head, looking at the press, it's like, well, shit, I'm just doing what Fizdale's telling me to do. But everybody else is killing me. Man. Everybody else on the outside is killing me because I got to listen to this man.
You know how I can tell you how I know coaching matters. Because that bum y'all got for the Jets, he was with my Dolphins. And I knew he was going to be trash. And I got happy when y'all signed him. I said, oh, we're going to beat them twice a game. And we literally came in with Brian Flores and deconstruct our roster to look for the future. And we won more games than that clown won with y'all with a better roster.
Yo, you know what's so crazy, Ron Cleveland? My coworker, he's older than me. He's 43. He's a Miami Dolphin fan too. And he told me the day that the Jets hired Adam Gase, he said, watch what you see Adam Gase do. Because he always tell me it took the Dolphins 2 to 3 years to rebuild after Gase destroyed the whole team. Like they had Joseph Adai, they had Micah Fitzpatrick, like you had a lot of good players. So when I look at the Jets this season, they remind me of the Knicks last season. Like, you got talent. You got Marcus May. I see Quinn Williams. I see the talent.
Y'all had Adams.
Yeah.
Strong personalities. Adam Gase going to work. Anybody with strong personalities, he cannot handle them. He got rid of Jarvis Landry and Jay Ajayi. Both of them guys are outspoken and vocal. He got rid of them. So that's what y'all got. Y'all got a guy that ain't a coach, man. They only got the job because of Peyton Manning.
This is why I think having a guy with the reputation that Tibbs has, because right now Tibbs is the biggest star we have.
You're right.
So
you're right. I like that.
Hey, Kevin, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did Guillermo date your sister or something? You always throwing shade at my man.
Because on the low, this is why I like Guillermo, but he throws hate. Like he hates these players.
He's a man of passion.
And then he covers it up. And then he covers up like, no, I'm not hating. I'm just pointing it out because the player needs to take accountability. No, a 19, 20-year-old is going to do what they are told to do.
They ain't gonna be like Alonzo Trier.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. Sports are not sports. The last thing anybody wants to do is look over their shoulder. Because as soon as you start doing that, you lose any I don't care who you are. As soon as you start looking over your shoulder, if you make a mistake and the first thing you do is look over your shoulder, like, is the coach going to pull me? Is he going to get on me? What's going to happen?
The coach working for the other team.
You're playing like you're playing on eggshells. And that's not any way to play. And so you can say, oh, it's not the coach. These players got to take responsibility for how they played. Yes, this is true. But if the coach does not put you in the best possible situation, then there's a reason the Bulls took off when they got Michael Jordan and left go with Doug Collins.
Exactly. When they got Phil to replace him.
So you're going to see a big difference from David Fizdale's, whatever you call that kind of coaching, to what Thibodeau was going to bring to the table. Because Thibodeau is what he's going to do is he's going to hold you accountable, but you're still going to have the Kenny Paynes of the world, the Johnny Bryants of the world, the Woodies of the world. That's going to be behind the scenes. That's going to teach these players from their mistakes. They're not like, you made a mistake, go sit down. No, is you made a mistake. This is what you have to do to correct this mistake.
I think Guillermo was just stressing that players have to take accountability, and RJ is an excellent example. And went into his own, hired his own coach for his own development. He wasn't waiting for the team or anybody else to make him better. He was making himself better, and he was going into his own pocket to make himself better. So I think Guillermo was just talking about, of course, you got to listen to your coach, but the players that are special take that accountability on themselves to go to that next step. They don't need any. The guy put the bar higher than anybody could ever put the bar for themselves.
I tell you this, Stephen, though, to Kevin's point, the one thing that with Tibbs that I'm going to love, and we think back to those Chicago's teams, he is going to hold you accountable to your teammates.
Yep.
All those guys, because you remember how them boys used to play together, and when they messed up, Tibbs ain't even had to say nothing. You saw them guys on the floor.
They were talking to each other.
Exactly. And that's what Tibbs is gonna get these guys to do, to buy in. And that's when you know that a team is bought in, is when they're checking each other. When that ain't going on, and just like Kev said, if a player got to look at a coach to wonder what they're gonna run, or you don't have no system. You don't have no system. And that roster, think about how many lineups we had. We had, I think, 15 different lineups. How are you gonna have any kind of consistency?
And that's another thing. Tibbs is gonna give these players a defined role.
Thank you. Thank you.
That also is going to, like, Kevin Knox is young, and you can blame youth and you can blame whatever. But I think Kevin Knox is the kind of player, like, if you tell him something to do, he's going to do it. If you put him in this position, because like I said, everyone knows that Kevin Knox, everyone has seen Kevin Knox go off and do all kinds of, you've seen him hit the three. Kevin Knox has the best looking jumper. If you just look at form, Kevin Knox has one of the best forms in the NBA. Like, his shot is beautiful.
You need to take some of that air out of it, though. Boy, I tell you, he be shooting that thing so high, I'd be like, no. I know you need arc on the ball, but that is like, he be dropping out the ceiling.
This is what kills me about Guillermo when it comes to Kevin Knox. And this is what kills me about a lot of people when it comes to Kevin Knox. They talk about his motor, they talk about his desire. One thing is this. Every coach that Kevin Knox has says that Kevin Knox is the first person in the gym and the last one to leave. If I didn't care about my job, I'm not going to be working hard to be better at it. That's my thing. If I didn't care about my job, why am I spending so much time trying to be better at my job?
Preach.
Kevin Knox has spent 9 months. You see on his Instagram and everything, he put out these videos, and not like Mitchell Robinson videos where he's in the gym playing with his friends who ain't NBA players. Where he in the gym doing all kinds of crazy things with 5, 6 people, his buddies, at the local YMCA doing stuff. Kevin Knox is actually training with actual trainers. He spent time with Lethal Shooter, who basically has worked on his shot most of the time, and other trainers. And this is what's the most important thing. Kevin Knox has spent time working with Rick Brunson. And if y'all don't know who Rick Brunson is, you got to go back to old school Knicks. He's one of them death players on the charts. But he used to be one of Tibbs' top assistants in Chicago and Minnesota.
Hard-nosed guy.
And was he working with Obi too?
Yeah, they're in New Jersey. So Rick Brunson has already
Jalen Brunson's daddy. That's Jalen's daddy.
Yeah.
With Dallas.
Exactly.
Rick Brunson has already been working with Knox. And like, listen, I'm going to tell you what Tibbs is going to expect. I'm going to tell you what Tibbs is going to want from you. So Kevin Knox has already, and I think that's a big reason why Kevin Knox has already looked good, because he already knows what Thibodeau wants from him, because he's been working with one of his top assistants for 9 months.
I just want us, like, I'm with you, man. I think you made a lot of really good points about defined roles, because that's so important. But my whole thing is this. I want this team, I want these guys, I want to play with a certain identity. And that's the thing. Like, regardless of wins and losses, I want to know every night when I'm watching this team, this is how we're going to play. This is how we're going to play, regardless of wins or losses. I know it's tough, and we could talk about the personnel on the team, what we have, what we don't have, but we need to come out defensively. And I'm encouraged by what you said. The first 2 days, all they've been working on is defense, which is what they should be doing. Because right now we got to find a way to become a good defensive team. Everything else, we'll figure it out.
And we already saw that. Kevin brought it up with Mitch. One of his comments is, it's a much different coach, Tibbs, but stops. Use the term stops. That's part of this identity. If we get stops, everything else is going to fall into place.
Man, hey, y'all know who coined the phrase? Defense win what?
Championships.
But before you win them championships, defense going to win you what?
Games.
There you go.
Yep.
Hey, fellas, I got to go, man. I enjoyed it.
Night.
Hey,
night.
hey, but I gotta give a shout out to the big Nicka. Man, he made a good point. I read his response in the chat. Something he said, and I think we all can agree with this, man. From top to bottom, he says, "I just feel a different energy with this year's team."
You know what I'm looking at? That he's that Tibbs is like the NBA version of Belichick. He's a great communicator.
Hot dog, man. Hey,
they're rolling.
Steve, that is a great comparison.
Guys, I'm out
That's what
too.
I'm here for.
I'm out too. But man, State, all you guys, Steve Fox, I love your stats, man. You make it entertaining. My wife,
that's
my wife loves you,
man.
Steve, my wife loves you. So keep doing what you're doing with the
Don't
stats.
tell my wife.
All right, Professor. Rob,
thank you.
Kevin, man, good. Hey, 3 points, man. Likewise.
Right.
Y'all boys, man. Hey, we get ready. We get ready to ride preseason first game coming up. You heard me?
And go to look at Ron's video on malpractice, man. It's happening.
Appreciate it. Y'all fellas have a good one, man.
All right,
peace out to the chat.
All right. Yo.
Y'all stay safe, man.
Yo, you too, brother. Yo, you know it's crazy while y'all was talking, I was thinking about RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Kevin Knox. And Obi's 22, Knox is 21, and RJ's 20. So I'm wondering who out of those three is going to become the all-star. I don't give a damn which one of the three.
Now, hold on, let me ask you this. Who's going to become an all-star first, or can all of them become all-stars?
So here's my thing. They're only going to become, like, if all three become all-stars, two things has happened. One, in 2021, we got a A-list free agent, 2021. We got one guy. And also within the next season, RJ, Obi, and Knox is going to have to lead this young Knicks team to about anything above 30 wins. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it all depends on the point guard play, what roles each player play, and how they go throughout the season. Because those three moving forward, we're going to need one of them to become an all-star level or superstar level caliber player. Because the last time a big was the finals MVP was 2011. That was Dirk Nowitzki. So we're going to need RJ or Knox or Obi. One of them.
Wait, wasn't that the no, that was Kawhi. Kawhi was
it was all wings. It was all wings. It's been wings the past 9 years. So that's why I'm really so high on RJ and Knox, because
this is my thing. Where was I'm gonna ask you a trivia question. Where was Tibbs at before he got the head coaching job at Chicago?
He was in Boston.
He was in Boston with the big three.
Yeah,
the defensive coordinator.
That is my, and I made a post on Facebook the other day that what if Garnett, Allen, and Pierce were 10 years younger when they got together?
Dynasty.
And had
that's
years
to
grow together.
Yeah.
And learn together and learn each other's nuances on the court and really get to know a feel for the game as they grow together. That is a dynasty. And I really do think the Knicks have put themselves in position. If the coaches, like I said, Johnny Bryant and Kenny Payne might be just as important as Thibodeau, because they are the ones that's going to be like RJ Barrett said. RJ Barrett said he spent so much time already with Johnny Bryant. And we all know Kevin Knox is going to spend time with Kenny Payne. And Obi Toppin is going to spend time with Kenny Payne. So that's why I said, why isn't it possible? Because everyone is quick to point out, last year Knox was just trash and RJ couldn't shoot the ball, and they want to bring it up, and yeah, that's true. But if you want to look at the metrics, then look at it. RJ had no space to do anything. You know what he's going to do, and yeah, Knox's confidence was killed. So you have a confident Knox, because the press conference that I saw from the Kevin Knox the other day,
growth, maturity.
I haven't seen that Kevin Knox since his rookie year. Since Summer League, his rookie year. And he was talking about how he's determined, how he's coming up with a new attitude, how he's confident. And you can just tell by the look and the demeanor that he was giving that there's something different about Kevin this year. You can tell something has clicked within Kevin. And that's all Kevin needs, is just something to click inside him. Because like I said, we've seen Kevin Knox at some point do everything offensively on a basketball court,
including passing and a few other things, man. Second on the team in blocks. He's a lot more, and he had a pretty good defensive rating. Everyone, sometimes visually you see something, then you look at the stats and say, whoa, I didn't realize that. He had a positive defensive rating last year.
And so people look, let's say with Tibbs, and like I said, Tibbs has been working with this. If you start RJ and Kevin Knox is 6'9", RJ Barrett is 6'7". The length that they bring defensively,
outstanding. Those lanes.
And Obi Toppin is 6'9" with a 7'4" wingspan.
And so
he has the same wingspan as Mitch.
You have Tibbs, who's going to run ice defense. And we talk about stops. Deflections lead to steals, which lead to fast break points.
Transition.
So you have those lengths, in the lane, and you have Mitch protecting because Mitch is long, and that's what you need. You need length. Length helps. Defense can be taught. Defense is about positioning. It's about knowing I need to be in this position right here.
Or taking your butt guy out of his spot.
Exactly. That's all defense is you don't have to be the best on-ball defender to play great. Those Chicago Bulls team defenses, how many of them were great defenders? Was Mike Dunleavy and Kirk Heinrich, were they top-notch defenders? No.
But they were where they needed to be.
Exactly.
And they swamped the ball.
Exactly, and that's team defense. As long as your team defense is good, you don't have to have great individual defenders.
Hey, Kevin, that's a great point. Some of the things over the last couple of years that bothered me is we haven't heard the guys yelling on defense with each other, communicating. I want to see that with Tibbs, where the guys are yelling. The old days we used to hear him with a full guard, and you still heard the guys screaming. Whether it's switches or whatever, but they were talking to each other. It was silence over the last couple of years.
And I think that's something that Tibbs is going to install. And this all comes from Thibodeau. Thibodeau, like I said, is the biggest star. He is the X factor because he is the one who is teaching these guys. And I think it was I don't know who it was earlier. I think it was Rob earlier that said the style of play that Chicago played. And it's not even the style of play. The style of it defensively that Chicago was running, if we can emulate that in New York, then hell yes, this roster that we have right now is a playoff team. I absolutely guarantee it.
So let me throw this at you, right? I was watching Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and it was Devin Booker's old coach, Earl Watson.
Ooh.
And
I've heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, really, man.
So, he was talking about how the first day he walked in the locker room, he said, Devin Booker, you gonna get 16 shots. Like he set the roles the first day he walked in the room.
Managing expectations.
Yeah, so he said everybody looked at him and then looked at Devin Booker, but he was like, he's gonna play, he's gonna get a certain amount of shots, and I want him to get them certain amount of shots a game. But he also said remember when Phoenix just signed Brandon Knight, and they just signed, who was it, Eric Bledsoe or Dragic? But whatever the case may be. So you know that they just signed a high-priced backcourt, right? And you can't place Devin Booker as small forward, so you're going to have to wait. So boom, once Brandon Knight got hurt, he started Devin Booker. And then he put the ball in Devin Booker's hands. But what I'm getting at is, I hope that Tibbs, from day one, when he walked in the room, said, I want you to do this, I want you to do this, and I want you to do this. Another thing, Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin was talking about how, in recent interviews, he said it in the media session. He said it on MSG Network when they interviewed him. Obi Toppin said his role at Dayton, he wasn't asked to play defense.
Exactly.
So I could sit here and say he's a garbage defender. We all seen tape, we all seen highlights, you know. But if he wasn't asked to do that because he was the engine of Dayton's offense, so maybe right now in the NBA, he'll ask to do more on the defensive side of the ball. So I would love for this team to talk too. You brought up a great point, matter of fact, because last season I seen Mitch started doing it more. Mitch is a quiet, timid person. I seen last season he did it more, but I'm hoping Thibodeau gives him that voice. Like if he set the roles and he'd say, "Look, you're the defensive captain. I need you to use your voice. You got to speak. Y'all got to speak." If he gives the certain proper roles, I feel like we could flourish because we got the deepest front court. I keep telling people, we got the deepest, youngest front court in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yeah, that's where Mitch missed Jordan, because Jordan was, as a pro, was telling him to talk on defense and stuff like that. And in his first year, that mentorship, really, you saw the effect of it. And then when DJ went to the Nets and he wasn't there last year, you know, he didn't have that person saying, "Hey, man," on the timeout or timeouts and stuff, pulling him to the side and see him talking about position on. He didn't have that last year.
Yeah. A big part of defense is communicating with each other.
Oh my God!
Knowing what each other are, and like I said, that's where you need that time. You know, the reason why Boston's defense, people remember Boston. I think when the Big Three, the first year, and they won the championship, they had the best defense. One, and as Tib said, veterans know the tricks of the trade. But when you're younger, you rely more on your athleticism. So, and I'm glad that Obi and Kevin Knox worked out. And then I think Kevin Knox, and I don't know if y'all recall this, how often last year did y'all see RJ and Kevin on the court at the same time?
Oh, it wasn't often, but I like the pairing. Like they have no issues playing with each other. The kids don't have no issues playing with each other. I seen the ball move when the kids is on the floor. That's a fact.
I have no idea why they weren't always on. It's always one was on and then one was off, and then it's like they never played that much together. And
yeah, that's tough.
Another Miller Fizdale fuck up, but
garbage. That was garbage. That was, you know what was garbage? I think the cherry on top. No, that wasn't the cherry on top for me last season. What made me hate last season? I think I hated last season. I think that was the worst season I ever watched being a Knicks fan. Watching what was going on the court. I think last season was worse for me. The day after All-Star break, when I seen the starting lineup and I seen Mo Harkless playing after coming back from injury, and I'm like, why? Why am I paying bills to watch Reggie Bullock run up and down the court with Alfred Payton? We just had a full sample size of this garbage. Can I see the kids play? This is what I mean by huh?
And he can't shoot either.
He couldn't shoot. And I'm like, what are they doing to RJ?
Why
RJ
probably those quality minutes from kids.
But I don't understand about Mo Harkless. When Mo Harkless first got there, they were talking about releasing him.
Yeah, I don't
him go somewhere else. And then how do you go from about to release somebody to him being your starter?
Bad management.
And it's like, Mike Miller, are you that serious? Hey, there he
is. Hey. Man, y'all Knox conversation was bananas, man. I was listening like a fan. Yeah, I was legit like listening like it. Now I was like, wait a minute, let me jump in here. Wait a minute. Yeah, I heard the Knox conversation. Hey, the Knox conversation was dope, man. It's dope. Hey, man.
I won't say
how y'all tonight?
Oh yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm good, man.
We hold it down for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. I don't really have anything to add, man. I was listening to what y'all was saying about Knox, and I was impressed. Hey, shout out to the mods, by the way. The mods is legit keeping the chat extra clean and spicy. I like it.
Shout out Sima, shout out Bodega.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to everybody, man. Man, it's been a rough night, brother. It's been a rough.
Yeah, man.
It's been a rough night, man. Y'all legit helping me make it through, man. Now I understand, with the home team advantage, the home field advantage, feel like when we get on that night. You know what I'm saying? We helping them through, man. Y'all been helping me through this night right here, man. It's been crazy.
Man, I'm excited, man. It's been damn near 10 months, bro, since last time I seen the Knicks game. So I'm excited, man.
I really can't wait till Friday. I know it's a big game. I can't wait till Friday.
I don't even care who see the court Friday. I just want to genuinely sit there and watch the game, like as a fan. Like I don't even want to analyze the game Friday. Like I just want to genuinely take in the game because I've been subjected to garbage coaching for the past 6 years. So this is the first time where I'm like, woo, I'm gonna see some pick and roll play. I'm gonna see some stagger screens.
Right. I want the squeak of the sneakers.
The squeak of the sneakers, diving for loose balls, players talking, Mitch chirping. And another thing I hated last season too. RJ was the only person who was rah-rah after dunks. I need everybody to rah-rah from now on. Like I want a team that takes no prisoners. I don't want no handshaking after games. I want them to hate that when they lose. That I don't want nobody come. I want Thibodeau to say to this team, I don't ever want to see somebody score 50 on y'all. That is disrespectful. I don't even. Did anybody ever score 50 on the Thibodeau team? I need to look that up.
Anyone might have been on like LeBron or somebody, but other than that, I
don't even think of LeBron scored 50.
Hey, State, look what I got ready, State. You see what that is? I got my popcorn ready.
I look at it as like this. Thibodeau is going to hold these account because he knows like your playing time is going to be matched by how much you give on the court. And if you giving 100, we can lose, and I'll be fine. I think because losing in the past is like, are these people really giving as much effort as they can? But I think like Kevin Knox came out and said, I want to be the starter. So in his mind, he knows I have to go out there for 30 minutes and give everything I can. Because if I don't, Thibodeau gonna have me back on that bench.
Right.
I'm gonna have these fans on me. Because we all know Kevin Knox on social media.
Yeah.
We all know that Kevin Knox is 20 years old. He hears what people say about him. And I think that he's like, okay, this is my chance. Everything is fresh. Everything is clean. So if I come in there and I show Thibodeau that I can do this. Like I can be the player everyone thinks and knows that I can be. Then I don't think going into the season we're gonna have any issues from Kevin Knox.
Man, that Kevin Knox Obi Toppin forward combo, man. I'm itching to see them two play together. Them two with RJ, it just gives RJ so much space to operate with. Like, I want Thibodeau to look at Knox. I need you to shoot 4 threes a game, or I'm sitting you. I need him to really tell Knox that, because
one of Belichick's famous comments. I'm sorry, Freezy, you got it.
You want Knox to shoot 1 3 per quarter?
No,
is that too much to ask?
I'd rather have 2.
I'd rather have 2.
I'm gonna read you. I know y'all weren't here earlier, but this is what Tibbs said about Knox earlier. I'm gonna read it again. He's had 2 really good days of practice so far. When Kevin Knox takes good shots, he's going to make them. He's put a lot of time into his shooting this offseason. He's gotten stronger. He's got to continue to work. And if he does that, Kevin Knox will be fine. That's what Colin Thibodeau, out the horse's mouth, said about Kevin Knox today. Yeah. When he takes good shots, he's going to make them.
You know what that means? That means your point guard play was trash.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, he threw mad shade. I didn't even think of it like that. He threw so much shade.
One of Belichick's most famous comments is that as a coach, I'm here to teach technique. If I have to teach effort, you ain't playing on my team.
Oh, but they need it though. That's what we've been asking from a coach for years. It's just some goddamn accountability. You know, it's tough watching a team. And it's like, I watched the Knicks. It's a couple games I watched last season where we was up in the 4th quarter and then we melded in.
There's a lot more than a couple.
Yeah. I watched games last season where we was up on playoff teams. We was up double-digit points early and we lost the game. So they got to learn how to win. This is why I like a dude like Austin Rivers on the roster. I like those type of pieces, like locker room pieces. I like Nerlens Noel because Nerlens Noel came from Philadelphia. Remember the process. Nerlens Noel he was coming in practice high. Nerlens Noel was trashing his hotel rooms. And then remember, Nerlens Noel declined a $70 million offer from the Mavericks, right? And then he switched agents multiple times, right? So he finally get his career back on track when he get to OKC with Chris Paul, right? So he's humbled now. So I like him in this situation because I know that a guy like Nerlens Noel is going to talk. I know he's learned some things. I know he's going to preach defense. So I'm liking the mix right now. I'm interested in what Thibodeau run. I know Thibodeau in Chicago ran 25% triangle offense. And triangle offense, you're gonna need your bigs to be smart passers and willing passers. Yeah.
That's actually one of Obi's strengths is his passing.
It is.
Yeah. He wasn't actually do that.
And IQ.
Yeah. Like Obi Toppin is a smart player.
Very.
RJ Barrett is a smart player.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think Kevin Knox can be smart if Kevin Knox believes in himself. Mitch is the only one that's like, he has to not learn how to play basketball, but he has to be, because he's never had the proper coaching, I think, ever before. I think he's going to be the one that's going to take the longest to kind of come along. Because mind you, Kevin Knox went to Kentucky under John Calipari. So he's had teaching. Kevin Knox played AAU ball. So Kevin Knox knows how to play basketball. It's not like Mr. Robinson where he was just the biggest person on the team and coach was like giving him, but then he sat out, didn't go to college, and just came in and just like Mr. Robinson has the most raw potential of anyone on the Knicks.
He
Like
do.
it's just that raw. Like so, it's going to take more time for Mitchell Robinson to get on the same page as everybody else.
Yeah.
But the detriment to that is Mitchell Robinson in a Tom Thibodeau defense plays one of the most important roles. So it's kind of like you have an important role, but you just don't know how to play that role.
Right.
Which is why I think Noel will get more burn than people think that he's going to get.
Yep. I always say the difference between vets and kids is film. The vets, like you were saying, they learn at early, they rely on athleticism, but then they get into the film room. Somebody like Rondo lives in the film room. He sees tendencies. That's what we want of these kids, that, you got to this level, to go to the next level, it's going to be in the film room every game, tendencies and knowing, all right, lagging off on switching and everything you need to do. It's because they already studied the film and they know it's going to happen before it happens.
So this is another reason why I like Thibodeau. Like, he's a basketball junkie. Got no kids, don't got a wife, just straight basketball. That's his love. So these are his kids right now, right? He has no big egos on his team, and he could mold this team into what he wants. The biggest question for me to Thibodeau, and this is what made me sour on him in Minnesota. I felt like Thibodeau destroyed their rebuild in hindsight, right? Because he pushed the red button a season too early, and their management paid Wiggins a season too early. So, like, you go into that offseason, you could have drafted Laurie Marketing. You still could have had Karl Anthony Towns. You still had Wiggins. You still had Zach LaVine. You still had Chris Dunn. You still had Ricky Rubio, right? You still had wild pieces. If you wanted to, you should have traded Andrew Wiggins and kept Zach LaVine and try to keep your draft pick. But I just felt like he pressed the red button too early. He didn't learn from his mistakes in Chicago. So that's why I'm glad we got the strong coaching staff that we have, where a guy like Kenny Payne could tell him, like, yo, bro, like, really, like, he got to come out the game. So Thibodeau, I got a lot of worries about him, but I feel like we have a strong enough coaching staff to where I could trust in everybody.
And State, it's the other way up too, man. He's not doing the GM, doing all these jobs at once, the GM and the coach too. So he has the assistant coaches on development, but he also has the organization above him taking off that. So he just is focusing, on his specialty, coaching. So it's a whole different game being a GM and a basketball operations and a coach.
Yeah. Right. It's hard. It's going to be tough for Tibbs' first season. What I'm interested in is how will he manage minutes? How will he revert back to his old ways if he's losing a game? Like, if he lose 3 games straight, will he go back to old Tibbs? Like, that's the stuff I'm really scared about. Or
I think it's a special season because of the schedule, game on, day on, game, game, day off, game. It's going to be such a brutal schedule that I think we're going to have a bigger rotation that he's ever played because it's just going to have to do that.
I wish I can pull up what he said earlier about the rotation. He basically everyone is going, because of the season, everyone's going to have a chance to play at some point. Because of how condensed it's going to be.
Exactly, Kevin.
He also said that like he said, I guess one of the attributes is, his team is young. The oldest player on the team is like 29. Most of the people in the rotation, I say Obi's 22, Knox is 20, Frank is like 20, DSJ is like 20, RJ is like 20. Randall's like 25, 26. One of the things they need to do is get up and run. They will have that over more of the, and it kind of works out because I look at it like this, and like I mentioned earlier, you're going to have teams that's going to have their star players look on the schedule like, okay, we got the Knicks coming up. Kawhi, this is going to be your load management game coming up. But then we coming in with this whole mindset, and that's the game we're going to steal because you put your best player on load management thinking we're the same old Knicks when there's a whole different kind of thing going on here. And so at the beginning of the season, that's going to catch up like, whoa. So later in the season, people are like, wait a minute. The Knicks record is what? What's going on here? This ain't the same old Knicks. And I think I think we're going to sneak up on people in the beginning because we're young, because we're going to be so well coached that we can get wins that people don't think that we are because players, you're going to have the load management games, the back-to-back games.
Yeah, that schedule is tough though, brother.
Nah, it's really not. It's really not. In hindsight, them first couple of weeks, I think we could play 500 ball. When I'm because look, Freezy, look at the schedule. Like Indiana, they just got a new coach.
Here's the thing.
They just got a new coach. Philly got a new coach. Go ahead.
I look at that Indiana game, and that's a game I'm really, really excited about because we match up so well against Indiana. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know who's going to start at the 4. I think if Randle starts at the 4 in the beginning of the season, like, because he got Sabonis. And I think Randle and Obi Toppin ain't played a game in the NBA yet. But I still think Obi Toppin is better than Sabonis right now.
No.
No.
Not even close.
No. Sabonis is a monster. You know what Sabonis did to the Knicks the past 2 years?
Because, mind you, is Sabonis even 100% coming off the injury he came off of?
That's a different thing.
I don't know, but what I do know is I damn sure don't want Mitch guarding Sabonis. I know that for a fact.
I think Mitch would be on Turner.
I mean,
and Miles Turner, he's not like he's an offensive juggernaut or anything.
But he
like
does.
But he's what I want Mitch to become.
Exactly. I'm about to say I want Mitch to become Miles Turner.
No, but not Miles Turner. Miles Turner is kind of.
If that is the next step in evolution for Mitch, because what does Miles Turner do? He gives you like 12 and 10 a game, and that's what we asked Mitch to do.
I mean, he's taking the floor. If you want to say that,
he has that jump shot. Miles Turner is everything that we want Mitchell Robinson to be right now.
I mean,
you can't say no because that exactly Miles Turner is what we want Mitchell Robinson to be.
So basically, Brook Lopez, just like
Brook Lopez was at one point in time in his career one of the best offensive centers in basketball.
When he got out of Stanford, the first few years, man.
Like when he was in Brooklyn or New Jersey, was it New Jersey then?
Brooklyn.
Yeah,
it was Brooklyn.
New Jersey then. Yeah.
New Jersey still then. He was the man. He was getting like 20, 25 points a game.
Yeah. Then he had them foot problems.
But, here's my thing. I want to see RJ go up against Oladipo. And this is the match I'm really looking for. I want to see Knox go up against TJ Warren. That is going to be a litmus test. Knox, what are you going to allow TJ Warren to do?
TJ was a monster in the bubble.
That's what I'm looking for. Like, Knox, if you are really serious about this defense, what are you going to allow TJ Warren to do?
I mean, Tibbs is
doing anything he wanted, man.
That's true, but Tibbs is a funny character. Tibbs is the type to really think like that. If Knox plays well preseason and he'll start him game one.
Let's look at who's he going to be matched up with. He got two. Well, hold on. Well, shit, they only played Detroit and Cleveland.
Yeah, 2 against Detroit, 2 against Cleveland.
Yeah. So who's Detroit's small forward?
I like either matchup for Knox.
He's got Jeremy Grant. Get the small forward.
Oh, Jeremy Grant? Never mind.
For Detroit.
Right.
I mean, but I want to see it. If he can score, if he can score over Jeremy Grant, then I mean, but he might lock him up. I don't even think I want to throw Knox out there against Grant.
You know what I'm looking for? Obi against Blake. That's gonna
that's gonna be a good matchup too. But you got to think like,
wait a minute, is Okoro the starter?
He should be the starter in Cleveland because why would you draft? Listen, the training wheels is off. It's not like it's not like 4 years ago where you draft a guy top 10 and he don't start. Like
this is
right now,
going into the season, if Knox can bust Isaac Okoro,
I mean, he's 6'9".
You see Colin Sexton's response watching the draft when they took Okoro? His whole body language was like, we didn't take Obi. He didn't say that, but you saw that he wasn't when they took Okoro go, woo! Right. He had the look on his face like, damn, we should have taken Obi.
So my thing is this. There's no reason why Knox shouldn't get off in the preseason.
Yeah, that's
get that momentum going.
Yeah.
So going up against, he has, like I said, he'll start off against T.J. Warren. Then if he dunks again on Ben Simmons, then it's over. I'm gonna anoint him the chosen one. He dunk on Ben Simmons again.
I'm here to tell y'all that this Cleveland and Detroit matchups are not going to be as easy as what y'all think for Knox.
Yeah, Detroit got Sims boy, Sadiq Bey.
Yeah,
Sadiq Bey, Sekou Doumbouya. I mean, come on.
Knox punched Sekou Doumbouya's shot last season. He ain't scored on him and won. Don't play with me. When Sekou Doumbouya hits 125 threes on 34% shooting from three, then we can have that conversation. I found very disrespectful. Like, you got dudes in the chat like, oh, we hyping up Knox. I don't want to talk about Frank Ntilikina. So I want to continue talking about Kevin Knox and the other boys. I'm good with Frank Ntilikina right now, brother.
This is the thing about Kevin Knox why is Kevin Knox on the Knicks? It's because Scott Perry said, Kevin Knox, if you can beat Mikal and Miles Bridges, we will take you. That's all you gotta do is beat them. And so people say, oh, Mikal is better. Like, obviously not, because obviously Knox whooped up on him, and that's why he got picked. So I feel like Knox is the kind of person, if you put him in the corner, he will claw his way out.
But you gotta think, you gotta add on too as well. You know, Michael Porter Jr., he had back issues. That was my original pick that I wanted for the Knicks. I wanted Michael Porter Jr. But he had back issues. So I was like, no way. I'm looking at Miles. He too old. The other Bridges, he too old. I didn't want him. And then you got to think about it. We just traded Carmelo Anthony. So I wanted a young small forward, and I felt like Knox fit the bill because he was the youngest in the draft. I was watching him all season, and I felt like he was going to be a okay, good, great, whatever. His ceiling is as high as his confidence take him.
You know, with the whole Michael Porter Jr. thing, it kills me because if you put Kevin Knox in the bubble, he probably would have did the same thing that Michael Porter Jr. did.
But I'm gonna stop you right there.
Taking out the fourth quarter because he couldn't play the pick and roll.
Yeah, but Michael Porter Jr. is his moves. You can see why he was the number 1 overall pick, like preseason. You can see it.
Hold on. Do you know? I'm gonna pull up. Do you know what Michael Porter Jr.'s stats were pre-bubble?
Come on, man.
Because people was like, Michael Porter Jr. was average busting out with like 3 30-point games in the bubble. Michael Porter Jr. was averaging like 8 points a game.
I mean, that's understandable, but what he showed in the bubble was the
hold on, you're gonna forget.
He couldn't play a fourth quarter though. With all those 30-point and offensive games, they were abusing him play after play on
that's
defense.
Understandable. He's young, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying that Knox is nowhere near Michael Porter Jr. offense. Like as far as like having moves and getting and knowing what you want to do, nowhere near. I will say this: availability is your best ability, and Knox is more available than Michael Porter Jr. So I'm going to stand pat on how I feel about Knox. I felt like he should have been the pick, and the Knicks malpractice. You draft Knox with David Fizdale, first-time head coach, with the lowest developmental staff in the NBA. And I see somebody in the chat, this guy's delusional. But that's facts. That is facts. When RJ, one of these dudes, like, Fizdale didn't teach him anything.
Why isn't already in?
He just
And
said,
let him
someone said Michael Porter Jr. is a better rebounder. I think Michael Porter Jr. might have averaged less rebounds than Kevin Knox did.
No, Michael Porter Jr. is better than Kevin Knox. I don't want to.
I said a rebounder, like rebounding.
Michael Porter Jr. is the better overall player. If Knox had moves like Michael Porter Jr., I would be ecstatic. But Knox, no, I'm not even going to just. I love Knox, but I'm not going to sit here and cap and be like,
right,
yo, Knox is nah. I'm not doing that. I'm not tonight. Michael Porter Jr. is way better than Knox. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If Knox could get there, then yeah, okay. But you know, I'm just focused on what Tibbs could do. I don't really give a. I don't care about who gets on the court really, because whoever Tibbs put on the court they're showing something. Obviously, they're hustling and we not seeing everything that's behind the scenes. So I'm just focused on wins, man. I want to see us win, man. I'm not really the whole Frank could start point guard thing. It's drowning. I don't care about that, man. I just want to win, bro. Word.
Yeah. Michael Porter is an elite player, man. Offensively.
Hold on. Let's not word around.
What I seen in the bubble, he is elite on the offensive end of the ball.
Hey, the standard. Hey, Kevin, hold on 1 sec. The standard for shooting is 50, 40, 90. You know, and Michael Porter last year did 50 from 2, 42 from 3, and 83 from the foul line.
Oh man, and that's with limited minutes. like that's with limited minutes. I don't even want to bring up Knox stats from last season because it was so disgusting. And I'm trying to get those nightmares out of my brain from that was disgusting. So I'm hoping Knox could get to a place where he's offensively like Michael Porter Jr. I'm hoping, but at the end of the day, availability is your best ability. And Knox is going to last longer than Michael Porter Jr. I've seen countless All-Stars, NBA All-Stars, T-Mac. T-Mac was one of my favorite players growing up. I watched him deteriorate. Like, it took about 2-3 years, and he was never the same. So I'm happy with the Knox pick. I just need to see it. I gotta see it. Whatever Tibbs is seeing behind the scenes, I want to see it on the court. I want to see it Friday. Show me something Friday. I don't want to talk so glowingly about Knox, and we play Friday, and he give me less than 10 points. I don't want that to happen. See, stuff like that will make me annoyed.
The thing with Michael Porter Jr. is that I've never seen. Let him play a full season. I've never seen a guy with a back injury where it doesn't flare back up, and he had disc surgery, so I'm glad he's healthy. But play a full season, and then I know he's great in a small, playing the small amount of games he played. But let's see if he can put up with the banging of an NBA season, and then I'll be on that train.
Like I said earlier, much earlier, it seems like I don't even know how long we've been on. 3 hours now. Like I said, I give Knox a complete mulligan for last year. Like, I don't blame Knox for not one thing that happened last year in his sophomore season.
Offensively, I'll say this. Offensively, you can blame him because even though you're not getting plays run for you, you're still supposed to grab the ball by the horn and take it. but then he didn't have no confidence. He's one of those type of players. He got to play to get confident. Go ahead.
Like I was saying earlier, the last thing you can do, and this is for a young player, old player, whoever, the last thing you want to do is start looking over your shoulder. Because once you start doing that, once you have the mindset like, oh, I missed this assignment or I missed this shot, am I about to be pulled from the game? Because that's in your mind instead of the next play. Because,
hey, y'all, I'm about to get off video and get in the chat because I got to go back in and finish up the shift. But I'm going to be listening, man. Y'all, man. Hey, Kev, man, y'all great, man. You and State, man. And Steve, man, I love this right here, man. Hey, thank y'all for making my night, man.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh man, this is the Knicks at Night podcast, man. This is what we do.
I'm gonna try. I'll say, Freezy, I'm gonna try my best to get up and do the Knicks morning drive. I'm gonna see if I got it in me.
hey, man, just what I'm gonna do is I have a troll that I have to get out of my system, and so I'm gonna do that on the Knicks morning drive, and it's for people. It's for my brethren like State. I'm about to trash the rebuild at 8:00. I'm legit about to say what are we looking to rebuild with kids for? You know, let's go get some veterans and get this thing over with.
Get out.
Blasphemy.
Hey,
get out.
I'll holler at y'all in the morning.
God bless Isaiah Thomas. This guy here, I don't want nothing to do with trading. No, we just went through that 9 years ago with Melo, and we're just recovering from that trade. Like I had to watch. You know what? It hurts more when a player you were supposed to draft and a player that you could have drafted both score 50 points in a playoff game. Like, every time Donovan Mitchell scored, when he scored 57 and Jamal Murray was scoring too, I was just thinking about Frank Ntilikina, like, every point he scored. Because how do you miss on that? And I love Frank, but and then
I'll say this. The thing about that is 11 other teams besides us passed on Donovan Mitchell. He wasn't the first or second pick. He was the 13th pick.
Yeah, but you gotta think, like, how many years that pick set us back again? Because when you pick players like that, like Frank Ntilikina, you don't get a guy like Donovan Mitchell, your rebuild stays stagnant because you gotta wait for the production instead of getting it right away. So and then the guy who drafted him, bro, got fired the next day. So it's like, what the hell? Like, you're just wasting my time. Like, and that's on James Dolan. That's all that 100,000%. James Dolan was watching the draft with the JD and the shots, whatever the hell he called his little people. He's watching the draft, and when they picked Frank Ntilikina, he said, Frank Ntilikina who? Oh, nah. Caulfield the next day got him out of there. It was a bad pick. Like, I love Frank, but picking Frank over Donovan, that is tough. I don't even really care about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because he cool to me, but he ain't no Donovan Mitchell. Like, Donovan Mitchell has scored, he's averaged at least 20 every single season. So,
the reality is, if we didn't take Frank, you would have taken DSJ.
No, DSJ went one pick before.
No, honestly,
I thought.
No, basically they stated that
did DSJ go before or after Frank? Let me see.
No, he went after Frank. He went ninth, but Jeff Hornacek wanted Donovan Mitchell. Like, that was reported. Like, that's fact.
Yeah,
Jeff Hornacek wanted Donovan.
Was really pushing him, saying, "You got to take this kid from Louisville."
And I don't know what to say. It took me 10 months to get here, And
well, you gotta look at this
right.
also.
You're right. You're right. Art is right. I'm broken. I admit that was a bad pick. That was a bad pick. And
Donovan Mitchell be Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks?
But
would he be Donovan Mitchell with David Fisdale?
I don't know because you gotta. I don't know. That's the tough part.
And Jeff Hornacek and Kurt Rambis and Mike Miller. Would he be the same player?
I think so. He's a dog, man.
I don't know because
Keith Smart is his shooting coach.
Oh,
yeah. So it's a good no.
Oh man, you just said the dirty word.
Hey, that's facts. With Keith Smart is his shooting coach. He didn't have Johnny Bryant.
But you got to think about it.
Yeah, Keith Smart.
Donovan Mitchell with Porzingis. God, I hate the Knicks show. Oh my god. These dudes, man, they always do this, man. They gotta really stick with the rebuild, man. They cannot, even if you don't want to stick with the rebuild.
Here's my thing. Like I said earlier, I do think that Julius Randle will be traded for a veteran. What veteran it is, I don't know. Because if Obi, Kevin, and RJ, sure, that's 3 spots. There's a power forward, a shooting guard, and a small forward. Depending on what you get out of Mitch or Noel tandem, you might be able to upgrade at that position. But the real thing we're lacking is point guard. But then you have to look at the business side, like what point guard is going to be, because people are like, why would we want to trade, your best player? My thing is this: it's not the fact that we want to trade it. It's like he's a 25-year-old who gets you 20 and 10 every night, and I was like, yeah, that might be valuable to somebody else. So what can we get for a 26-year-old player who can get you 20 and 10 every night? Who would be a nice third option on a team? And what team would that be? Because it would be a team that feels like they're one inside piece away.
Minnesota.
And the reason I keep bringing this up, and I think I brought this up the other day, is if Julius Randle was in Utah with Rudy Gobert as a second or third option, because mind you, Julius Randle might be the third option in Utah behind Mitchell and Bogdanovich. And then he has a defensive anchor behind him. And I know this rumor might have been out, and I'm not saying that it's actual, because I don't know. I'm not like in big there.
Did they just get Favors again?
Did they pick up Favors?
Yeah, I believe so.
Julius Randle's still better than Derek Favors.
Yeah.
How old is Derek Favors now?
I think 67.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah. Julius Randle, he's way better. What? That's not even close. But Randle is he was just put in the wrong role. Like if he was the fourth, I want him. Like he's a talent, man, but the Knicks is not going to just give him away. Like reportedly, supposedly, it was Frank Ntilikina and Julius Randle and a Dallas pick for Buddy Hield.
See, like I said earlier, I don't look at that as something that was legitimate because it didn't come from the Knicks, and it's not. Buddy Hield is not a need for the Knicks.
What? Yes, he is. He provides the one thing that we need. I hate his contract, but he provides a need. We need shooting bad. I hate Buddy.
Hold on. If Kevin Knox can shoot,
okay, continue.
What do we need? Because here's my thing: are you gonna start Buddy Hield over RJ?
No, bro.
You know what? That's fake news. They got rid of Bogdanovich, and if they get rid of Buddy Hield, the only shooting guard they got is the kid Ramsey from Texas Tech they just drafted.
And I don't think they're going to
can't go into the season that way, man.
And I don't think they're going to start Halliburton at the 2. So
even if they do, he's not Buddy Hield.
Exactly. So I don't think Buddy, because Buddy was his biggest his biggest issue was he didn't want to come off the bench for Bogdanovich. But Bogdanovich is gone now.
who want to come off the bench for the Sacramento Kings anyway? So it's like, can you blame them? Can you blame them?
I'm looking at the Kings, and I'm thinking to myself, they might make a little noise in the West. They got a nice little lineup if you look at it.
But here's the thing. They play in the toughest division. I think they play in the second toughest division in basketball. How the hell are they?
I think our division might be the toughest. Well, no, they got the Lakers, but
they got the Lakers, the Clippers. Ain't the Phoenix Suns in that division too?
Yeah, it's the Lakers, Clippers, Suns, and Warriors.
Let me make sure.
Yeah, Lakers, Clippers, Suns, Warriors, and Kings are in the Pacific Division.
I mean, so I don't know. They probably can. See, next season is funny because next season is a lot of people's back healthy, and then I don't know if Sacramento going to the playoffs because Phoenix is going to the playoffs.
I didn't say they're going to make the playoffs. I said they're going to be better than what people think they're going to be.
Okay. They was 31-41 last season. I mean, let's see if they can improve. But Phoenix
stay healthy.
Bagley's healthy. I like the Whiteside pickup for them.
Oh, I don't. What you need Whiteside for?
Hey, listen. People want to discredit the center position, like the center position is going out of style, but it's really not. Look at the Lakers last year. The Lakers were big. They weren't small. They weren't playing small ball, people. They always usually had McGee and Howard out there with Davis.
It depends on the matchups, though, because they definitely went small ball against Houston when they had Braun at the 5.
They were still big with Houston.
Yeah, but you gotta remember sometimes on the court. I remember they ran Houston off the court with a small ball lineup with Braun at center. Because remember they played Braun, Keith, Cool.
This is my mindset as a coach. Maybe it's an old school mindset. People are like, oh, you play small, then they got to match up with you. But it's like, yeah, but you got to come down on the other side of the court and match up with me too. So if I'm playing big, like my thing, if I'm Philadelphia and I'm playing against Houston, I'm telling Embiid, you can get 60. Because ain't nobody on Houston that can guard you down here on the block. You're going to put 6'7" PJ Tucker on Embiid. No, I'm talking about last year. Last year, it was in the small ball kind of thing when PJ Tucker was playing a center. My thing is this. Ain't nobody. That's why they got beat down, because even when Anthony Davis is playing the 5, you don't got nobody to match up with him. That's why they beat who was it? That's a big. But you look at all the better teams. Look at Portland. Portland has 2 bigs. Denver has 2 bigs. Those are some of the better teams in the league. Teams ain't really playing small ball like that. I think that's a misconception that people got. And I don't know when it happened. I think it's when they saw Steph and Clay shooting up threes. They're like, oh, let's get small. But it's like, no.
It happened when it's not necessarily small ball. It's more like a positionless basketball. But when you got a big like Anthony Davis who could protect the rim but also space the floor out to the 3-point line, then you could mismatch because you gotta guard him too. So in today's NBA, I think you gotta have a big. Your center has to be able to space the floor, or he's not going to play in the playoffs. This is why guys like Rudy Gobert get played off the floor. I watched Clinton.
Hold on. Joel Embiid.
He can space the floor, though. Embiid spaces the floor.
The biggest problem with Embiid is he doesn't go down in the post enough.
Exactly.
That's the problem with Philadelphia.
He's still dominating.
The problem with Philadelphia is they got it messed up. Is they got their small forward in the paint and they got their center out on the wing because Ben Simmons can't shoot. But if Ben Simmons could shoot, It's not even that he can shoot. If he actually just shot, if he just took shots, regardless of whether he was going to miss it or not, if he just took the shot just to keep defenses honest, do have it? Because like, how many teams have a player that can match it with Embiid in the paint?
No,
not many.
Exactly, man.
But maybe a handful.
Or one hand, actually.
Yeah, a handful can actually. If Embiid just went down in the paint,
he's a beast.
There's not that many teams that can stop him. So you're going to go through players. Just go rack up fouls. He's not a bad free throw shooter. And that's the problem. I hope Doc Rivers, and I hope because they're not when he plays the Knicks, but that's the issue that they have, is they got this backwards, it's like. But it's like they brought in shooters to complement them. The big man stretch four, whatever you want to call it, like I said, I think that whole thing is blown up to where people think like, oh no, you just got to have a bunch of guards out there, and that's not it. The teams with big men still are winning. They're still if you get a big man, you're going to be good. I don't know how many teams that have a dominant big man that's bad.
Yeah,
they all do.
Denver wouldn't be Denver without their guy, man. Yeah. Talk about a dominant center.
Oh my goodness. And what makes, but see, he spaces the floor. He's the point center. He's dynamic.
Exactly. He has more assists than, exactly.
Yeah, like he's dynamic. But key word, he spaces the floor. So exactly. You can't sag off the Joker. So that makes everybody else game easy. When Jamal Murray runs the pick and roll, if Jokic dives or plants back for a pick and pop, you can't guard that. So it's
my thing with Jokic is, if you look at it, he still gets most of his points on the block.
Yeah,
most
but
his points come from the block. Because here's my thing: footwork as a big man, Jokic might have the best footwork in the NBA.
Footwork, Jokic, best in the NBA.
Cause you want a lot of offensive centers. You only got Jokic, Embiid. I like what's his name from Portland? Nurkic. Nurkic, Vucevic. It's almost like they're all foreign.
Exactly.
Yeah. All the foreign players got the elite forward. I like Cat footwork and Embiid. I really like Cat footwork. He just don't play.
The thing about Embiid, like, it's not as finesse as Jokic. If Embiid in the paint is more power. Like, Embiid's the closest thing since Shaq that we've seen.
Nah, I give him that.
It's not even that, because he's just that much. No, I mean like just bigger. He's just that much bigger than everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, his power is different from Giannis's power, because his is just like brute strength with Embiid.
See, like Embiid. See, this is why dudes like Embiid would melt in New York. Like dudes like James Harden would melt in New York. Embiid didn't play a playoff game because he had stomach issues.
Hey, gentlemen, one second. I got to bounce. I got to walk the pup. He's going to have an accident. It's been an honor spending time with you tonight, enlightening me, and hope to see you soon. And as always, in parting, we wish you love, peace, and Knicks. Have a good one.
Sir Steve.
Hey, Kevin, it's a pleasure. Hey, Kevin, get a light, man. Your face is dark so much. We want to see that pretty face, man. Light, you got to get a better light there.
I had to start sitting back because I'm like, okay, I've been sitting there for like 3 hours. So I'm like, okay, I gotta relax. It's 3:00 in the morning.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Trust me. I'm not about to be on here much longer myself.
Hey, it's been an honor, man. Have a good one. Take care.
You too.
For the last thing though, because Uncle Freezy said kill it. He said stop the live stream at 3:30. So I guess the last thing we could talk about It's expectations, man. My expectations on this season, I think I have a minimum cap on like minimum games that I want to win. As far as this overall season and going into the future, I feel like anything less than 28 wins is a failure in a 72 game season. I feel like we won 17 games, then we won 21 games. Mike Miller went 17 and 27 in the games that he coached, and Thibodeau is a million times better than both of them. So on top of the fact that the kids just had 9 months off and it's a new energy in the building, we spent, James Dolan spent millions of dollars to get a whole new player developmental management team. So I'm confident, and I just feel like 28, anything lower than 28 is a failure. Anything lower than 28 is a failure.
All right, so let's look at this. Okay, so this year, because you got to play in game, so it's really the first top 10 teams kind of make the playoffs in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So in a season where you have 72 games, 36 and 36 is 500. 36 wins in the East probably might put you at a 6th seed.
It might be the 5th seed next season. It just might. 35 wins might legit get you in the playoffs in the East next season.
Yeah, legit. So how many wins do you probably have to make to sneak into the top 10? Because my thing, I feel like this, and I'm going to say something about that, because the East is a whole lot more competitive than what people think is. Now, I think teams will kind of fluctuate, and like anything, injuries happen.
Yeah,
you never know. That's something that you can't predict. But you have the top teams in the East. You're gonna have your Milwaukee's, your Boston's, your Brooklyn's, Miami. Those are probably the 4 absolute locks. Toronto. Now, here's the thing about it. I'm going to say this. I think Toronto is going to take a step back. I think them losing Gasol, losing Ibaka, because Aaron Baines is not as good as either one of those players. And the roles that they played in the offense, I don't think both of them could stretch the offense, stretch the floor, space the floor. Gasol was a great passer and was still, even at his advanced age, was still an anchor of that defense. So I think that Toronto's going to take a step back. They're not going to be as good as people think they're going to be. Indiana, I don't know about Indiana because I don't know about Oladipo. And that's my thing. Is he really in it? Is he back healthy? Orlando's a crapshoot. They could be there. They could not be there.
Right.
And everybody wants to make this big deal about Atlanta. And yeah, they upgraded. I can't say they haven't, but something about it is the players that they got aren't the best defensive players.
It's real Knicksy to me what Atlanta did. I like, it's cool on paper. It looks cute. Like the Gallo pickup for $20 million next 3 years. That's a laughable.
Because I look at this and I say that Trae Young is a volume shooter.
He's a great shooter. I'm not even gonna say it.
But he still takes a lot of shots.
I mean, but he had to at the beginning of the last season. You got to remember John Collins, this goddamn idiot. He went and got suspended. So,
but you bring in Gallo, you bring in Bogdanovich, you still got John Collins. They're going to take shots from Trae Young.
I mean, but if Trae Young, that's less pressure on Trae Young. So I can understand the pickups. My only thing is, how the hell are you going to play defense? I don't see Bogey.
And that's the thing about it. They're not going to be a good defensive team. Trae Young is not a good defender, but it's just like the Knicks. And who's the coach in Atlanta?
Lloyd Pierce. They got a couple.
Who that is?
Lloyd Pierce. They got a couple of good defensive pieces. Like they got Clint Capella. He don't defend in space though. They got Okongwu. He'll probably help with defense, but he's a rookie. You know, you got Rondo, Chris Dunn. Like I can see it, but it's just not enough. I don't know. I like the roster, but it feels a little Knicksy to me. Like I did not understand the offseason. It's cool though. I mean,
Washington would be better. Just because here's the interesting thing, you know, Russell Westbrook has never missed the playoffs.
I like Washington. I think Washington will be a 5th seed this year. They're gonna be a top 5 seed.
That's a little high.
It depends on who you talk to. In my personal opinion, this is just my opinion. Russell Westbrook is the best point guard in the Eastern Conference right now. You put him in a starting lineup when both his bigs shoot 40+% from 3 and Thomas Bryant and Bertans. Then you give him Denny. And he got the other young ball. His name can't come to my head. Roy Hachimura. He got the other young ball. I like that. And I didn't even mention Bill yet. We know he's a shooter. They got him. Top 5 seed. If they don't, I'm going to come back on the pod and I'm going to own up to it. But that's my prediction right there. Top 5 seed. I really like Washington right now. Really like Washington.
I like Washington, and I think Washington will be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Top 5, I don't know.
Top 5. Yo, Russ, it depends on who you talk to because a lot of people don't like Russ. I love Russell Westbrook. I love the way he plays, even though he plays stupid and like the Tasmanian Devil. But Russell Westbrook in the West and Russell Westbrook in the East is a different Russell Westbrook, especially on a team that got shooters all around him. But the only thing about the Wizards, they can't defend the rim. So it's tough. A lot of these Eastern Conference teams, like their offense is good, like the Wizards, Atlanta, like they're gonna be scoring points, but they don't have no defense. And then we got to think about Brooklyn. You know, the Nets is coming back. You know, KD. You know, he's healthy. He's coming back.
The thing about the Nets is, you know, off the gate they're not gonna be playing Kevin Durant a lot of minutes. He's gonna have some nights off. He's probably not gonna play back to backs. That might take away from their win total a little bit. When he's not there, Kyrie Irving has never played a full season in his entire career, and that's something to take in consideration also.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be good. I still think Milwaukee is still the best team in the East. They'll still be the number 1 seed in the East, even though they didn't get Bogdanovich. They have depth. They still got a Greek freak. People downplay Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton, now that he's like the number 3 option, because it's gonna be Greek freak, Drew Holiday, then Chris Middleton, which is the position.
I totally forgot about Drew Holiday.
Yeah, so I think that with him in the 3rd option is even better. Brook Lopez will still get you 15 a night.
So my thing about the Bucks, it's nothing about the roster that I got an issue with. They got a fraud as a coach. Coach Bud is a fraud. He had multiple 60-win teams and won nothing. He has been called Coach of the Year. He's won nothing. I watched him wet the bed last year. He got out-coached by Miami. They didn't get out-talented. He got out-coached.
Eric Spoelstra might be one of the top 3 coaches in the league.
Yeah, but when you Bud, I expect better. You got to coach better. You can't coach the way he did and expect to keep Giannis in that green uniform. The way he did last playoffs, you got to do better. He got to perform. He got to perform. Drew Holiday is cool. But I promise you, Giannis is not going to. He's not signing that supermax right now. He's not doing it before December 21st. Yes, Chad, I said it. Coach Bud is a fraud. He had multiple 60-win teams, and he's going nowhere. He's a fraud. I don't like frauds. I'm sorry. I know when I see
this is why I look at the Greek Freak, and I'm gonna cut this for all the Knicks fans who feel like the Greek Freak is coming to New York. That's not gonna happen at all. I wish people would stop that. They need to give up hope. It's not gonna happen. Period. It's not gonna happen. It's just not. Let it go. Because my thing is this: regardless of whether we can get over the top or not, the Bucks still give me the best chance to win. I can't sleep on the fact that we've been the number 1 seed, period, 2 years in a row. The Milwaukee organization has proven, other than not re-signing Malcolm Brogdon, they have proven they are committed to winning. They have spent the money and have done the things they needed to do to prove to me that I'm winning. They have surrounded me with players. They've got different players. They've done what they've held their part of the bargain. Why on God's green earth, if I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo, would I leave a team, because they're probably we had the number 1 seed again, leave a team that's been number 1 overall 3 years in a row for a team that people think, not saying it wasn't going to happen.
So for me,
I'm trying to think about this for a second before I say it. If the Knicks make the playoffs by some sheer happenstance, they make the playoffs, then that might change his mind. I still think he's going to restart. Whether he does it before December 22nd or whether he does it next offseason, he's going to stay in Milwaukee.
So here's the reason why I think he's going to leave. And after this, I guess after this, then we're going to say our final pieces. Peace out to the chat. I see y'all going crazy in there. Art, I see you going crazy in there. Freezy, we holding it down for you. D Block, I see you. Real King, D Jones, Artie, Ty Champ, D. You know, I see y'all. Y'all heavy in the chat. I see y'all. Shout outs to y'all. My reasoning for Giannis leaving, and I'm gonna stand on this. And I know Giannis is not gonna come in, right? Giannis not gonna come in, but he's gonna leave Milwaukee because when you look at the roster. After next season, they don't have no draft capital. And on top of the fact that they're capped out and you just gave 7 full years of your career to that team and you haven't gotten to the finals and you haven't won a ring with them and you got 2 MVPs so far. So I think he will leave. And whatever team he goes to, I'm not going to say the Knicks. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to say this. Whatever team he goes to, for sure, somebody's going to go with him. For sure. So I hope the Bucks could get to the finals because Giannis is the next big fish. I don't see no superstar free agents within the next 2-3 years. So it will be who I'm just saying. The ladies.
Are you saying that Giannis has to make the Bucks have to make the finals?
No, I'm saying they gotta win. I'm saying they gotta win. I'm saying they gotta win a championship for him to sign that dotted line
this year.
Yeah. If they don't win, he is gone. And
what if they make the finals and lose in the finals?
He's gone. Because it's going to be 3 teams that's going to be after him. It's going to be 3 teams. It's going to be Dallas, it's going to be Miami, and it's going to be New York. And when I look at Dallas, we got their draft pick. Porzingis don't come back till February, and the West got tougher. When I look at Miami, You just signed Bam Adebayo to that money. You got Jimmy Butler still on a max contract. You're going to have to pay Tyler Hero. You're going to have to pay Kendrick Nunn if you want to pay him.
That's down the line anyways of Hero and Duncan and everything.
So I'm just saying, I think 100% if he don't win the chip, he is gone. 100%. 100%.
I think if they make the finals, he'll stay, even if they lose. I think just them making it, them taking that next step. If it's close, then that's something too. If it's a game 7 or something, and they lose, that has to be taken into consideration too. Because you got to think, is another team going to put me in this same position or better position I'm already in? Other teams' roster, like if it's Miami, because Miami went on a fluke run last year. That was just a fluke run. That was the bubble. That was a lot of different things.
I kind of agree. Because I fell into place. I kind of agree.
So Miami is not as good as them making the finals last year. So is that roster better than Milwaukee's? Probably not. Because how old will Jimmy Butler be? In 2 years, how old will Jimmy Butler be? He's already like 31 now.
He's an older guy.
It's not like, he's going to be around that much longer. And he has a lot of wear and tear on him, as is. A lot of miles. So maybe Milwaukee is his best shot. Because really, him coming to New York, especially now that we have Obi. And if Obi shows this year, like let's say Obi wins Rookie of the Year or something, and he's putting up 18 points a game or something. I don't know. I just
winning cures all. If we win, good things come. Like that's the end of the story. Like that's the end of the story. So Freezy, he wanted us to end the live stream at
yes.
I guess we could say our last pieces, and then I guess we could say peace to the chat. For me, basically, I go and I'll let you go. And basically, shout outs to Uncle Freezy, man. I appreciate you. I'm kind of exhausted, but I don't care, man. I love talking Knicks, man. I appreciate you guys in the chat. Brian, man, D Jones, Reef Finesse, Nick Vibes, D Block once again, man. Let me scroll up. You got Andy, Andre Bryant, Art once again, CJ versus the world. But I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Freezy, I appreciate you giving everybody this platform. I love this idea. You gotta always do this. Everybody can contribute. I like contributing myself. And yeah, man, I'm happy to talk Knicks, man. Nick Nation, I love y'all, man. State of the New York Knicks podcast. It's your boy State. Oh, and also I got Uncle Freezy coming on the pod December 22nd. So I hope everybody tunes in for that. And Legion and Knicks podcast, by the way, too. But I hope everybody tunes in for that. But salute to you, my brother. Salute to the chat. I appreciate everybody, man. I appreciate Freezy for, giving me your time of the day. And I appreciate you, brother. You got to join the live more, man. You got to love your takes, man.
Well, I love it. I kind of came on yesterday and realized everyone's taking a liking to what I got to say. So I'll do it as much as I can. I'm like everybody else. I can talk about my Knicks all day. So that's what it's all about. We all here for the same thing.
Yeah, man. So definitely, man. But I'm out of here. I love y'all, man. Brother, love you, brother. Nick Nation, man. Peace.